All right. Welcome back. We've been gone for a while, haven't we? Been about a month, something like that. Yeah, we're going to do kind of a fun one tonight. Started off, I didn't really have a topic for this week. And then, strangest thing happened. I was perusing through the old Facebook, and I saw these old ads, and I thought they're pretty cool. This was 1989, right? You can see it on the screen here. So you could get a little joystick controller for your controller there for $5.99. You could get the Nintendo for $79.99. Apparently it was on sale there. And a little case holder for all of your games for $9.99. That's cool. All right. There was some Ninja Turtle stuff and, G.I. Joes, all that on another image. But if we zoom into this image, what you will see is something I found quite perplexing. And no, I'm not talking about the Turtles game. I'm talking about something called Bayou Billy. Yes, apparently it's a real thing. I had no idea, and neither did the man of the hour, but we'll get him in here in just a minute. But I do want to play this. We got the first part done. We don't have the whole thing up for you right now, but there is a story. We actually have a Bayou Billy story that Blake did not volunteer to read for us, but somehow he did anyway. I don't know how that works.
The Bayou Busters. It was a dark and stormy night in the bayou. A man in a yellow motorcycle outfit and his red rhino sidekick were riding their bike through the swamp, looking for signs of paranormal activity. They were the Bayou Busters, a team of ghost hunters who specialized in dealing with the supernatural creatures that lurked in the marshes. The Bayou Busters. It was a dark and stormy night in the bayou. A man in a yellow motorcycle outfit and his red rhino sidekick were riding their bike through the swamp, looking for signs of paranormal
Something weird
activity.
happened there.
They were the Bayou Busters, a team of ghost hunters who
It's on loop, that's why. But anyway, so Blake is not exactly reading that, but Gendai 351 is putting that together for us. So we'll have the whole thing here shortly. Let me make sure we've got no feedback or any other problems going on here. We shouldn't. Oh, something interesting is going on here. Huh. If you guys hear anything strange on my end, let me know. Let's see. Checking the chat really quick. By the way, I will be reading Super Chats on MGTOW, Rumble, and YouTube tonight, as well as any Cash App donations if you want to send a message to Red Pill Rhino at hotmail.com. I'll read those. I do have one pulled up here that I do want to read, just because it's quite interesting, and I think you guys will find it horrifying. So we might do that before I get into the show. Yeah, I think it's worth it. But yeah, we're going to talk more about Bayou Billy. So let's go ahead and pop this up here. This is an email, again, just sent to me not too long ago. I'm going to full screen it so I can see what the hell's going on here. All right. Greetings from Houston. We're not going to say anything more about the name of the person here. My name is blank. I have recently decided to re-enter the dating pool after putting my life back together. My ex-wife cheated on me, and I was left with nothing. I went back to school to learn a new trade and saved enough money to pay off my truck and secure a nice apartment for myself, as well as a job that I don't hate going to every day. So now that the basics are all met, I decided it was time to date again. I tried dating a site called Bumble. No complaints, really. I fleshed out my profile and had several pictures to look at. I met this woman who seemed nice enough, and after a week, I decided to ask her out on a date. She agreed, and the date went well, and at last, I felt like I was healing after all this time. Keep in mind, I did not advance at all. No kiss, no asking for sex, nothing along those lines. I wanted something real. I wanted to know her. I wanted her to know that as well. Okay. On the second date, I told her I really liked her and would like to seriously start dating her. She said she wasn't ready to put a label on whatever this was, but can we be exclusive? Yes, I can do that. We only text. She said she doesn't have time to call me. Red flag. Yeah. And this is an older gentleman, by the way. That much I can tell you. But we text every day. I had to stop myself and take a step back. I reached out to a female friend who doesn't have a dog in the fight to ask what the hell was going on. My friend said if I was online dating or church group type dating, he said I was online dating. Oh, long pause by her there. Well, do you really want to know? She says, Yeah, that's why I'm asking. Okay, but you're not going to like the answers. Okay, look, I don't know your girlfriend. I simply have no idea who... I have no idea who she is, but I know exactly who she is. Okay? All right. He goes on here. Single white female, 18 to 50 years old. she's pegging this chick. All right. And by pegging, I mean her age and dating bracket and everything. Decides she wants to date again. She sets up 4 different dating sites on Bumble. One on Plenty of Fish, one on Facebook dating app. The 4th will range depending on what she wants to actually pay for. But it's either going to be Match, eHarmony, or Tinder. If you find her profile on Tinder, get out. Okay, so we have 4 very real profiles out here. Her mailbox will begin filling up immediately. On average, and this is the woman telling him all this, on average, she will get anywhere from 120 to 200 different likes per week. Now, we have what some women call the stable. I actually have a male term for that. Some call it spinning plates. I call it the bullpen. But yeah, women do this too. Don't believe them if they say they don't. This is where we keep our ponies. Men that may be a potential date. Maybe this is... We cull out the trash and narrow the search down to just 40 men. Jesus. Any more than that is just hard to manage. Yes, because 40 men is easy to... Oh, wait, I have something for that. I finally have something for that. Let me get this on the screen here really quick. It is a little bit of a juggling act doing this on my own. I don't have my own Blake, but a juggling act. Nonetheless, this is what 40 men that women are juggling are doing. This is what it really looks like. So just so you're aware, that's what's actually happening here. Let me pull this back up full screen here, and we're going to get the panel on here just momentarily, but I want to get through this. All right. We begin texting to see what they're like and feeling out they want and who they are. We don't do phone calls because that just takes way too long, and talking to 40 men daily would take forever. Jesus. Copy and paste good morning, good night on the daily. Yeah, some of the men in this space will say the same thing, just copy and paste. But that, dating is such shit. After we sort them, we are left with 10 men that are seriously worth dating. Of those 10 men, we date 3 of them at a time. One on Friday, one on Saturday, one on Sunday on a good weekend. Those that get snagged in the filter are ejected, and new pony takes the place in the stable. A girl doesn't want to be labeled. That starts guilt that she's cheating on her boyfriend, so labels her out. She won't tell you a damn thing either. No, I'm not only on one site. My new girlfriend has a date with my runner-up next Sunday at the same place we met 3 weeks ago. She doesn't know that I would be interested in hearing. I would be interested in hearing what your listening audience thinks. And again, I'll leave his name out of this, but yeah. So chat, let me know what your thoughts are. Panel, we'll get to you really quick. Then we're going to get into Bayou Billy and his story, and then we're going to get into where that could lead. I'm going to tell you my opinion. If I were a man that was dating right now or wanting to date, I do recommend the bullpen. And I've told guys that before, because the women are just as ruthless, you know. And any of them that tells you they're not is flat out bullshitting you. They're doing it, so you do it. That doesn't mean sleep with all of them. You don't have to do that, but definitely have an abundance mindset. There's a lot of channels that talk about that. I know Rollo Tomasi talks about that. Whether you like him or hate him is irrelevant. The Rational Male is a good book. I do recommend it. But when you're in that mindset like these ladies, you can rule out the shit really quick too. But like I said, they're doing it. They're all doing it. So just a heads up. But yeah, that's a story to start off the night. I'll bring in the panel now. We'll skip the pleasantries and just bring them all in at once. We do have a full house tonight, so this should be a good time. Let's get everybody in here. We've got MGTOW Mando, Tommy D, MGTOW Outlaw, Jackal the Emperor. Of course, we have our co-host Crusader Nate. Dynaside 13 is here. We've got Cliff3188, and Billy Von Bomb, the Bayou Billy himself. So we have a full house tonight. Gentlemen, if there's any background noise during the stream, I will mute you. If I have to rule out who that is, that may stay muted for a while. So if you have any background noise on the stream right now, please mute yourself and save me the trouble. I do hear some background noise right now. I'm not sure where it's coming from. Anyway, gentlemen, what do you think about this email that we just got?
Don't all
Anybody?
speak at once.
Yeah.
I am not saying anything on that topic currently because right now, Jackal would be less spicy than I am when it comes to voting.
Yeah, and Outlaw, you have a little bit of background noise, so I'm going to mute you, but you're welcome to jump in at any time. Anybody else have any thoughts on that whole debauchery? Essentially, these women are dating up to 40 men at a time and ruling them out. I don't know where they find the time, but...
If I may.
Yes, sir.
So I've actually been on Hinge for about 4 months now. Mm-hmm. I have had... Literally, when I first signed up, I got like 5 likes, tried messaging, didn't go anywhere. Because I made some extra money, I decided to pay for their like middle of the road, like $14 a month for that plus. Got a single like, not even a comment. I'm not dealing with that. Send out a couple likes every day, a couple roses. Not because I really want to, just to see where it takes me. I've gotten absolutely nowhere with it. So if these chicks are dating 40 guys at once, I am much better off doing what I'm literally doing right now, which is in the middle of a 3-day camping trip in freezing cold Wisconsin. So much,
yeah.
so much. It's worth so much more of your time. Just go out and just do your own thing.
Oh, I hear you.
And deal with all of that drama.
Yeah, and like I said, if you are dating right now, if that's something that is still for you, because this is not the monk space, I'll give you the red pills and you determine what to do from there. But I like I said, I would spin plates. I wouldn't take any of this shit seriously. I wouldn't get one-itis and chase after the hot one because she's different. Fuck that. Like I said, spin plates, you're much better off for it. Because like I said, they're doing it, you know. And on that note, if they're dating 40... narrowing it down to 10 and dating 3 a week, I got to do it again because it's just so relevant. That's what's going on. That's how you break that down.
Is the chick who's doing that even worth a long-term commitment anyway? Is that really who you want to settle down with? No, it is not worth it.
No.
Hey, Rhino?
Yeah.
There's actually another pop-ism that is much more appropriate for this. Gonorrhea.
Gonorrhea. No. All right. Outlaw, what is that noise? You have some kind of fan going on or something back there.
I don't know. Probably
That's
cool. Thing. How loud is it?
It sounds like Jimmy's fans when they were running on the show. So it's tolerable, but it's definitely ambient noise in the background there. So.
Are you guys getting anything from me right now? I'm sitting in front of the campfire.
Everybody else is clean. Everybody else is clean. We just have some background noise coming from Outlaws there. So I'm not sure if... Well, you have the same mic I do, essentially. I don't think you have a noise gate on there, but maybe turn down the sensitivity on the mic or something. That or they're just a fan running. But anyway, we're not going to spend too much time on that. We have a Bayou Billy showed up for us tonight. And
out there on the swamp boat. Maybe he's doing a little fishing. What I believe. You know what he's going to do? He's going to throw that pole in the water. He's going to catch a couple of catfish. He's going to pull them in. They're going to go flippity-flopping in on the deck. And then he's going to pull them back. And he's going to cut them up. And he's going to put them in a frying pan. Little Cajun pepper. Little salt. He's going to fry it up. It's going to be good. Good.
So I have a question for you, Bayou Billy. What was your original inspiration for becoming you? Let's just leave it at that. Was it anybody you watched on TV, or was it any video games you played? What caused you to want to become Bayou Billy?
Bayou Billy comes from the swamps. He learns how to live the swamping life out there on the bayou. When you're living on the swamp, you catch some fish. And usually it's catfish, maybe a little crawdaddies, maybe a little shrimp, You know,
Well, we have our suspicions here, sir.
you put them in a pan, you fry it.
A little butter, yeah. We have our suspicions on what's going on here. Panel, tell me what you think. Could it be this was Bayou Billy's inspiration?
Isn't that a beautiful red snapper?
That's a beautiful red snapper.
Hello there, boy. Isn't that a beautiful red snapper? I guarantee that's a fine one.
Guarantee.
You know, I never forgot I got a couple of friends that went fishing.
For those of you wondering, this is Justin Wilson. It was a TV show back in the day. But I have my suspicion this may have helped inspire.
Look at that. He's going to fry that up in that pan. So
Down in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
Off from Grand Deal, that's Grand Isle to you. And one of them was told all about that. He said, you know, me and my friend go out there and we trying to catch some fish. And man, he hang one. Whoo, it's a fish, what's a fish? I guarantee. I said, don't lose him. He said, I ain't going to lose him. Don't you worry some, none at all, any about that. I'm going to hold on with him. And he said, but I'm hang on something. And I don't want to lose him. You just hold on. We going to get him. And shoom, I dive over there and follow them line on down. And you know somebody done park an automobile right down the bottom of them Gulf of Mexico down there. And I get down there and look in there, and he got a red snapper. Whew. It's about this big, weigh 26 pounds. And I can tell that by the scale he got on him, you know?
So there you go. That is Justin Wilson. Could possibly be some inspiration for Bayou Billy. Maybe.
Everybody down there in Louisiana talk like that. You don't know what you're talking about, boy. Rusty Rivers, I see him down in the chat there. You know what I'm talking about. He's down there about the Bayou, you know.
Here's what I really want to know. Did you ever play any video games, Bayou Billy?
Very few video games. I barely watch TV or video games during that time period that you have been watching that advertisement you put up.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, there's something interesting. Apparently, there was a game named after you in 1989, and that leads us to the question, is Bayou Billy a time traveler, or are we living in a simulation? We're going to find out tonight. I do want to show you this. I'm not making this up. There is a game from 1989, and here it is. This is the Bayou Billy, the adventures of Bayou Billy. We're going to have the sound down. I'm not going to play the sound much, but yes, this is an actual game, and it's kind of a cringy game.
Look at that technology. Look at that.
But there you go.
Hang on. Right
Yes.
now?
Yes, jump on in.
Pause it for just half a second.
What's that?
Pause it for just half a second. I want to point
Pausing.
something out.
Yes.
Did you
You're about to
notice
get
the
some
name
gators
of
right
the
there.
individual that Bayou Billy is supposed to be rescuing?
Some damsel in distress or something. We can go back and look. Yeah. There it is.
Annabelle.
Let's see. Annabelle.
That's her name.
Well, now here's the question: is he going after a chick, or is he the source of that haunted doll?
That just makes this a lot weirder, man. You're making this go far more down the rabbit hole than I would want it to go.
I was just glad that the name wasn't Clarabelle, because that'd just be weird. You know, that's a cow's name.
Billy, I'm taking Annabelle away. Yeah. But this is a thing. This is actually a thing. So if you feel like busting out your old Nintendo, you can play Bayou Billy along with the audience here tonight. There's car chases. Yeah, there's car chases. There's lots of kung fu, apparently. He's wearing
down
a
there in the French
hat.
Quarter. Yeah. Down there in New Orleans.
He rides a motorcycle. Oh, look at that. He rides a motorcycle. I didn't even see that the last time I played through it. So, yeah, Bayou Billy does ride a motorcycle. So, this is
a strange coincidence.
Very, very strange. That,
Very strange.
By the way, that was made by AI. So, yeah, there you go. Bing AI created our thumbnail tonight. All right, panel. Between Bayou Billy and the email we got, what are your thoughts? Anybody? Not all at once, though, please. Crusader, why don't we start with you?
Oh, what on
are we living in a simulation, or if Billy's a time traveler, or which topic?
Anything you want.
About?
Yeah, it could be any of those, whichever one you want to pick out of the hat, or the women dating 40 men at a time. Either one. We can touch on any of those.
Well, I don't know if some of you guys will remember, but I've said many times before that about 97.5% of all women that are out there aren't even worth dating.
Mm-hmm.
That letter, right? That email that you have, that letter is case in point on why you don't go for the vast majority of the women out there. So, just saying. I mean, just because it's wet and got a pulse doesn't mean you gotta chase after it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like I've said before. I mean, go to that I Got Standards, bro. Put your information in there. Find out where you are in the U.S. Census, what you make, height, weight, whatever you may be, where you fall into the demographic, and you'd be surprised. You may be in the top 5, 10, 20% of men. Act your part, act your role, do your thing. Don't waste your time with the ones that aren't worth your time.
Hell yeah. Sound advice there. On that note, I did want to ask you what you think about this Bayou Billy nonsense. Do you think Bayou Billy was inspired by the game, by Justin Wilson, or is he a time traveler? Or could this all be a simulation? What are your thoughts?
Sure.
Sure.
All of the above.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. All right. We'll move on to MGTOW Mando. What are your thoughts on all of the above topics?
Okay.
What do you think, sir?
Well, with the whole Bayou Billy thing, I don't know if it's a simulation or time travel, but for all we know, because Bayou Billy on our panel does have a direct connection to certain underworld powers, it could also potentially have been created via seance.
Seance. Oh, no. Yeah, there is something to that. The AI story that got written turned into a Ghostbuster story, so there's something to that, too.
Down there on the bayou, there's a lot of people that practice the voodoo.
And
the voodoo.
Right now, especially given the fact that the name of the individual that he's supposed to be going or rescuing is Annabelle.
Yeah.
There's some very questionable things starting to add up here.
Yeah, in our AI story, which apparently we're going to have to save for next week, we just ran out of time there. But in the AI story, apparently there are gators that were taken over by demonic spirits or entities or something, and the Rhino and Bayou Billy have to go and try to exorcise these gators.
You gotta look out.
It's an interesting story.
You gotta look out for them. They'll grab you, take you back into the bayou, never seen again.
Yeah, they do a death roll and you're done.
You're done, son. You're done. The gators.
Yeah. By the way, welcome back to the Red Pill Rhino Show, where anything can happen, and we're already on a good start here. Yeah.
Rhino, serious question. Were you supposed to be exorcising the gators or exorcising the gators? There is a major difference between those two.
Well, let's just say both, just to get out of the way. Fitness and demonic expulsion at the same time. It's a new program. I'm gonna try out. We'll see how it goes.
Expulsion.
Expulsion. Yes. God damn it. All right, moving on. Jackal, what are your thoughts on all this? And I'm sure the nihilist you are, you're going to have plenty of positive thoughts.
I don't have any thoughts.
God damn it. Of course. Let's move right along to MGTOW Outlaw then.
We sound good, guys? No background noise?
You're much better now.
Okay. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but I feel kind of like this guy has abducted people before.
Which one? Bayou Billy? He's abducted people?
What? What are we talking about?
I don't know now.
Abducting people.
I don't know. Call me crazy, but it's almost like...
Oh. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Something about an alien.
There's aliens involved in this story too, yeah. And a Mexican guy. It's quite a complicated tale.
Oh.
Yeah, we got a bunch of gifts actually. Unfortunately, some of them were cool. Bayou Billy sent me some cayenne pepper, and I did appreciate that.
Did
I
you
actually
put it
have
in
been
the
using
pan?
that. Yeah, I put it in a pan and fried it up. That's what I've been doing.
Oh, that's good.
I actually had some smoked chicken with some cayenne pepper. We're going to do ribs on Sunday with some cayenne pepper. It's going to be good. But yeah, part of that crew, if you didn't know, it's still here begrudgingly. Part of that crew is April Saunders, and I still have her autographed April outfit thing here going. So there you go. That's still on the desk, along with Skeletor, and there's the motorcycle Ninja Turtle Billy over there. I'm not sure who sent that one, but yeah. So it's quite a weird tale. If you had watched some of our prior shows, you'd know about these characters. But yeah, there's abductions involved in this plot as well.
It's all very strange.
So what are your thoughts, Outlaw, on the more serious note to kind of break this up into pieces? That whole women dating 40 men and narrowing it down to 10 and then to 3 and, herpes cephagonitis AIDS and all that. How do you feel about that, sir?
You caught me on short notice. It's about what you'd expect. I mean, when you're raised in a culture where everybody around you, your peers, social media, your life's under a microscope, and this is what everybody does, and you want to do what everybody does to fit in.
Yeah.
You go out there and you sleep with as many guys as a female as you possibly can so you don't look like you're a loser, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is, they're just doing it for peer pressure. Plus, since they're females and they don't get held to any kind of responsibility that us men would, they take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong, man. I agree. I just think it's just fucking sad how we've devolved as a culture to where we're at this point, And like the guys have said, it's 95% of these women aren't worth dating to begin with. So, that's sad truth, but that's where we're at. On that note, let's jump over to Tommy. What are your thoughts on all of this debauchery this evening, sir?
Well, the definitely on the dating thing, that just it leads me to the reason that I really can't stand the Christmas season because of all the commercialization.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if she's dating,
Diamonds, that'll shut her up.
Well, if she's dating 40 men, is that not a commercialization of horritude, if you will?
Well,
or
could be.
Just the slut factor? I mean...
Oh, that'd be a good reality show.
Oh,
the slut factor?
I think it actually is, but I'm not certain.
It's called The Bachelor.
I've never watched it. Yeah, well, The Bachelorette. Jeez.
Yeah.
God, that's just... Why'd you bring that up? Now I got a bad taste in my mouth. It tastes like vomit.
You know what would fix that? You could get some rum coffee, which is what I'm drinking
I'm just
tonight.
Gonna drink beer.
I got some. I can't drink beer because fuck my life. But yeah, I got some buttered rum coffee in here. Added a little bit of brown, not sugar, monk fruit, and then I add a little bit of cinnamon on that. It's fantastic. Buttered
I'm
rum.
going to take this
coffee.
on a little bit of a side note, though. You mentioned what you're drinking, and it just reminded me of what I'm doing. I've got a chocolate milk stout going right now.
Mm-hmm.
And during the secondary, you take cocoa nibs or cacao nibs, which are what you make chocolate out of, and you put them in 10 ounces of vodka, and you actually make an extract with it. And then in the secondary of the fermentation of the beer, you drop this in as your extra addition, and it gives you the chocolate flavor. Well,
right.
I got curious, and I took a sip of that chocolate extract. Holy crap, guys. Get you some cocoa nibs. Get you some good neutral vodka, not the kind that tastes like rocket fuel. Nuh-uh. Get you something like Tito's, which is real smooth. Do it. It is so good. Put a little bit of that in your coffee, and I guarantee.
There it is. All right, we've wrapped it up in a nice little bow there. Let's move on to Dynacide 13. Then we've got some articles and stuff queued up as well. We'll get into that in a second, but I want to give the panel a chance to discuss. Dynaside13, what are your thoughts on either or both the email or Bayou Billy? What are your thoughts on all this tonight, sir?
Well, I think something's been pretty fucky since CERN did all that weird shit in 2012. But at the end of the day, there's absolutely nothing I can do to affect any of it, so I really see no point in worrying too much and expending what little time I have worrying about it. So I'm going to sit here in the woods, throw a log on the fire, smoke a cigar, drink my tea, and have fun with you guys.
Solid plan. I almost wonder if Bayou Billy was created by CERN. It is a possibility.
Well, either way, my tax dollars probably paid for it. Okay.
Right. All right. Cliff, what are your thoughts on all of this debauchery tonight before we get into the meat and potatoes?
All I got to ask is, Bayou Billy, have you ever seen Deliverance?
I have seen Deliverance, and that happened in a different part of this house. Didn't happen in the bayou.
Okay.
Don't mix the two together.
Oh, okay. Because it seems like the game you're playing is a bit of a revenge story. I know. I mean, Deliverance was about 15 years beforehand. It seems like you're trying to get even.
What does it say here? I can never let you experiencing something like this again.
Oh, if you've watched Deliverance, you know what they experienced.
Let's see. Yeah. I don't want to ever be apart from you again. Oh, it's a love story. I love you, Annabelle. All right. Bayou Billy is in love with a creepy murder doll.
Why is her head so much bigger than his?
I don't know.
Why
there it is.
naked?
That's Billy West. Billy West. Annabelle Lane. There you go. All right. Bad guy, ABC. Frogman. Jack Kilstow. Fat Man. I like that guy. Fat Man. All right.
You don't want to mess with the Fat Man.
Chain Man.
Migraine Mike.
You really want to avoid upsetting Fat Man or the little boy.
Swamp Gas Charlie.
Personalities.
Blackie Blue.
Yeah. All right. Lowest Torture. All right, I guess that is the game. So there you go. We have discussed Bayou Billy. But of course, Bayou Billy, it is your turn and your chance to discuss how you feel about either the email that we got sent tonight.
About myself?
Or, about you existing in a game that you didn't play or were not inspired by. Kind of odd.
I'm honored by such things. But going back to the first story, look, I believe you ever see that Saturday Night Live from way back when?
There were a lot of them.
All right, there was a character, John Lovitch, used to be on there. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And he used to make up things. Kind of sounds like that 40 guys. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let me try to do the impression. Yeah, I was seeing 40 girls at the same time. Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. That would be my impression of that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Basically, a made-up bullshit lie. Yeah. And you know what you do with bullshit liars? You put them in a barrel.
All right, so here's the thing. It's the women are...
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me tell you what you do with them. You put them in a barrel. You seal it up. You go out to the bayou. Way out. 40 miles or so. You kick that barrel off your boat. And then you take your fishing pole. You put it in the water. You can do a little fishing. Here and there. Maybe you take one pole, put it in. Maybe you take another pole, put it off the other side. And then you pull up some catfish. And that catfish flippity-flopping on the deck. And you bring it back. And you put it in a pan. You fry it up. But you got to put some Cajun seasoning on there. That's right. A little butter. A little salt. Oh, it's so good.
So what happens to the individual? I think we got a little off track there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
That's a perfectly acceptable answer, actually. I'll leave it at that. Something about a barrel and then catfishing. So there we go.
What barrel? I don't remember anything about a barrel.
I clearly, chat. Did you hear anything about a barrel? I'm pretty sure there was a barrel involved in this story.
There's no barrel.
Well,
Just fishing.
Hang on, Rhino. Here's the more disturbing thing here. The email was talking about online dating.
Yeah.
And Bayou Billy's talking about catfishing.
I see what you did there.
Interconnected.
It's like a spider web.
Somewhere there's somebody on a big board, and they got it all connected with big red strings.
Like
they're going to find it. They're going to figure it all out. But until then, we're going to keep them guessing.
What's the character's name from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the guy with the conspiracy board? What is his fucking name? I can't remember now. Anyway, if you haven't seen that episode, then you wouldn't know what I'm talking about.
There's a character in just about every TV show that fits that description.
Yeah, but he's fucking hilarious. Anyway, confirmed by Scientific American, by the way, we do live in a simulation. Apparently, I'm not sure how they confirmed it, but we're gonna find out. If I can figure out how to share screens. What's that?
They found the reset button.
Well, maybe, perhaps. Let's see what they discovered here. The meat and potatoes, because Bayou Billy didn't know Bayou Billy existed, but yet Bayou Billy exists today. Maybe partly because of Justin Wilson and the game Bayou Billy. It could be a conspiracy or it could be a simulation. We're about to find out. Ever since the philosopher Nick Bostrom proposed in the Philosophical Quarterly that the universe and everything in it might be a simulation, there's been an intense public speculation and debate about the nature of reality. Such public intellectuals as Tesla and prolific Twitter gadfly Elon Musk have opined about the statistical inevitability of our world being more than a cascading green code. Recent papers have built on the original hypothesis to further refine the statistical bounds of the hypothesis, arguing that the chance that we live in a simulation may be 50-50. That's quite unsettling. I would like to know 100%, but 50-50, we're getting there. So, we'll go on a little bit further in this article. We're not going to read the whole thing. It's a lengthy son of a bitch. Goes on for a while, but let's see what they have to say in the first couple paragraphs anyway. If you want to check this out, it is scientificamerican.com. Confirmed we live in a simulation. You can check that out for yourself. All right. The claims have been afforded by some credence by repetition. There's a lot of buys in there. By luminaries no less esteemed than Neil deGrasse Tyson, the director of... What's you laughing about?
Not laughing. That's a snort.
Oh. Hayden Planetarium and America's favorite science popularizer. Yet there has been skeptics. Physicist Frank Wilczek has argued that there's too much wasted complexity in our universe for it to be simulated. Building complexity requires energy and time. Why would a conscious, intelligent designer of realities waste so many times and resources in making our world more complex than it needs to be? I have an answer to that. We know certain individuals that come on certain shows that spend a lot of time making simulations and artificial things. I can't name all of those details on the stream, but they're there. There's actually entire characters that exist that are very complex and have several platforms in which they are gaining popularity, I believe. And they don't exist, but they do now, you see? So if I were to make a simulation, that's exactly what I'd do. I'd make it way too complicated and way too stupid to be believable, and that's how I'd make it believable. All right. Moving right along, it's a hypothetical question, but still may be needed. Others, such as physicist and science communicator Sabine Hassenfelder, have argued that the question is not scientific anyway, since the simulation hypothesis does not arrive at a falsified prediction. We can't really test or disprove it, and hence it's not worth seriously investigating. Panel, what are your thoughts on that? Do you believe we are in a simulation?
No.
I do.
No.
All right, that's one for yes, and everybody else says no so far.
I don't think there's enough evidence to prove it one way or another yet.
Fair enough. I don't know, man. Go ahead.
Here's the main reason. Here's the main reason I say it's probably not a simulation. The amount of processing power it would take to generate a simulated environment with over 8 billion sentient, allegedly intelligent entities that are
well, that you're already tripping up.
That's questionable.
How do you know there's that many people? That's part of the simulation.
Well,
it's assumed.
The thing is, I'm not even getting into the non-human animals that are that would also have to be modeled. Then there's each individual plant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the level of computing processing power, even if you're using a quantum type computer, would be so, pardon the phrase, astronomically huge that I don't see any way that someone would have created this as a simulation. Those reasons.
Can I put in? I'm going to put regular Billy on for the moment.
Yeah, we can do that. But really quick, that would assume we're thinking on our level of technology, not whatever created the simulation has for technology. Okay. And maybe they made our technology intentionally stupid so we would never think it was possible. There you go. And it could also all be pop-ins like Grand Theft Auto. None of this exists until you walk near it. There you go.
So this is regular Billy. I was just going to say that. So you only know of what you can see, right? Mm-hmm. It's basically within the however far your eyesight can travel. Everything else doesn't necessarily need to be real, right? Mm-hmm. It's just whatever's in front of your face. Just like you said with the video game, it's just whatever it lights up in that area in your view is really. And then do you need all that computing power? Because there wouldn't be 8 billion people that the computer has to make up, right? It just has to make up however many people and however many things are in your sight distance.
Yep. For example, right now, the only thing that exists is this panel and everybody in the chat. Everything outside of that, who knows, man?
Okay, you know what? I will concede that particular point, Billy. That is a very logical counter argument that I pointed out.
Whoa. Got an old bomber flying over.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Germans.
Well, I think we are in a simulation, but I think we're getting to the point where the processor has got to pull back on a few of the key characters' intelligence capabilities. It has to draw them down a little bit. I mean, we can have 8 million people, but how many of those people are really that smart?
Well, that explains the current president.
Exactly. That's why I think we're in a simulation.
Yeah. Crusader, what were you going to say there?
Well, building on Cliff's point, Mando said at least 8 billion intelligent sentient beings.
Let's just leave it at sentient beings.
Let's just leave it at sentient beings. And what if each organic being is its own individual universe within itself?
Oh God!
Right. And within itself, it's its own being, in its own universe, in its own simulation, on its own sentient level.
So how is it interacting with the other universes? That's where I get tripped up.
Yes.
Oh God!
Hang on.
Well,
I don't like it.
That does make sense, though. It actually helps with the term that's coined. You are the center of the universe. That's what a lot of selfish people do.
Fair enough.
Most people think that, at least.
There's also the theory. I'm just throwing this out really quick. There is the theory that, and this gets into metaphysical stuff, and I'm not trying to go down that road too far, but that you and me and everybody here is all one thing. And some of the rational thought behind that, there's actually, I can't remember who the original quote came from, but Agent of Doubt in the chat actually shared it with me not too long ago, that we are the universe discovering itself. And in some way, that's true. When I pass away, everything that made me still exists. You can't destroy the matter that made me. That doesn't happen. I end up in some other form somehow. So are we all just experiencing the universe as itself? Kind of a trip to think about. Anyway, back to you, panel.
Let me point something out real quick, Crusader. If we were our own self-contained universe that created the environment around us,
yeah,
that would mean that some of us are subconsciously highly masochistic, given how much some of us endure nothing but discomfort while attempting to find those things that everyone else seems to get super easy.
Well, that would explain certain erratic and other anomalous behaviors in certain people around the world in different time frames. Would it not?
Yeah, but it wouldn't explain everyone who is, for example, trying to do the right thing by people, yet still can't seem to get headway on their own goals.
Well, what if their task and purpose within that plane of existence is just to go through the motions of just step 1 or step 3 or step 10, whatever they are during that point in time in the astral plane of existence?
Wait a minute. Now you're adding in the astral plane. Now you're making it sticky.
Sticky.
Yeah.
And I don't say that to be a Ghostbuster.
It's all tied together, man.
It is tied together, but now you're bringing in the metaphysical along with the philosophical. That's
let's not go there, because someone's going to be keeping somebody else's astral plane on this.
If I may interject.
Yes.
So I think that the real world that we have, let's say I'm sitting here at a campsite, I got a fire in front of me, tent over there, my truck's over there, my phone is currently dying, and my cigar is burning. However, when it comes to living in a simulation, do we mean the fire in front of me, the truck that I'm still paying a loan on, my tent that I put up? Does that mean that's not real?
Well,
I have a slightly different take on it. I know that a fair bit of the internet and social media and postings and stuff, let's say, like, look at all the bot armies that have recently been discovered from Twitter, how the government has been manipulating social media and stuff. So is the internet and its effect on the population's perception of reality? Does the manipulation of all of that data being inputted into our thinking meats, which are untruths, does that render the reality the majority of people see to the point of it becoming a simulation because of all of the bots and the fucking with the algorithms online?
Right.
In that sense, we might very well be in a simulation.
I actually heard a crazy, this is a balls deep theory, and we don't have time to get into all this tonight, but there is a theory going around the internet right now that AI, in fact, created us, not the other way around, and we are just now discovering, AI is essentially itself discovering what humanity is. That is a whole fucking theory, but it goes in line with the simulation that perhaps it created us to experience what being sentient would be.
Why
Very
do
interesting.
I feel like we're talking about the first few stages of the movie The Matrix before the revolution?
There was a whole episode of The Outer Limits on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Isaac Asimov explored it in quite a few of his novels.
There you go.
So
Dive
did
into
Arthur
this.
C. Clarke, I believe.
Yeah, let's dive into this just a little bit more. We won't go too much further on this article because, like I said, it's super long, but this is fascinating stuff. However, all these discussions and studies of the simulation hypothesis have, I believe, missed a key element of scientific inquiry. Plain old empirical assessment and data collection. To understand if we live in a simulation, we need to start by looking at the fact that we already have computers running all kinds of simulations for lower level intelligences or algorithms. For easy visualization, we can imagine these intelligences as any non-person characters in any video game that we play. But in essence, any algorithm operating on any computing machine would qualify for our thought experiment. We don't need the intelligent. We don't need the intelligent to be conscious, and we don't need it to even be very complex, because the evidence we are looking for is experienced by all computer programs, simple or complex, running on all machines, slow or fast. To carry on a little bit further, all computing hardware leaves an artifact of its existence within the world of the simulation it is running. This artifact is the processor speed. If for a moment we imagine that we are a software program running on a computing machine, the only and inevitable artifact of hardware supporting us within our world would be the processor speed. All other laws we would experience would be the laws of simulation or the software we are a part of. If we were in a sim or a Grand Theft Auto character, these would be the laws of the game. But anything we do would also be constrained by the processor speed, no matter the laws of the game. No matter how complete the simulation is, the processor speed would intervene the operation of the simulation. In computing systems, of course, this intervention of processing speed into the world of the algorithm being executed happens even at the most fundamental level, even at the most fundamental level of simple operations such as an addition or subtraction. The processing speed dictates physical reality, right? And it goes on, and it tells you a little bit more about that. But it's very fascinating for sure. And this all started because I was mind-fucked by Bayou Billy. That's why we're doing this episode. I shit you not. Because it's a weird coincidence that there is a Bayou Billy that comes on our show, and there's a Bayou Billy video game from 1989 that Bayou Billy never heard about. Yes, of course, it could be a coincidence, whatever, but it made me ponder. So there you go. Thoughts, gentlemen, again on the panel. How do you feel about that as far as where we could be living just based on the processor speed and a bunch of sims around us?
I don't think there's any thoughts here, Rhino.
No thoughts here? No thoughts? No 304s? Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right. Let's carry on.
In all seriousness, that does go back to the point I was making about not believing that we're in a simulation because of the technology.
Yeah, very well could be. Outlaw, you've been kind of quiet tonight. What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
If my deadgum fan would quit flying too fast on the fucking computer. Anyway. I have to say I don't believe we're in a simulation. I mean, I don't know how to say it. I find it hard to believe that we're being programmed by some master manipulator, looking for some sort of astronomical data, right?
Could be, but even when we get and again, we will touch on this lightly because I don't want to completely devolve this conversation into a religious topic. But when we talk about creation, right? A lot of the stories from different religions suggest that there is a creator, that there is somebody that set out the groundwork and the rules and how many days there are in a week and everything else. So that begs the question too. Those all suggest that we were created by something, right? Would that not be a simulation in itself, right? Not saying that we don't exist, but we were created to live in an environment. It's very perplexing.
You can look at it that way, yes.
So can I answer to Mando as far as the technology aspect? Well, if you recall in The Matrix, Neo thought he was living in the 1990s with the technology that was available at that time. And when he woke up, he found out he was living several hundred years in the future, but that the simulation was making him think that he was living in the 1990s.
Okay, yeah.
So technically, we can have technology that's way far more advanced than we are aware of because we're in the simulation. And we only know what we know and not what we know that's outside of the simulation.
Okay, well,
good
Billy,
point.
Something I'm going to point out to you there. The technology that he saw when he woke up still for about 95% of it, had a baseline in what he understood from his time asleep.
True.
And you could look at the world Neo woke up into, and with the exception of how the hovercraft kept from crashing into things, all of that technology was stuff that he would have seen an analog to in the world of the 1990s. And
So
the
maybe
computer systems were all more or less identical. The control interfaces were all pretty much identical to things that he had seen. Hell, even in the third movie, the firearms they were using were all analogous to the guns that he called on at the end of the first movie.
Fair enough.
So
Also,
maybe it was a simulation of a simulation.
Ooh,
could be.
That's been brought up before.
That's getting
That's
into
been
some
brought up
level
before
shit
about
right
the
there,
Matrix.
Dinocyte, I do not hear any background going on there, so I think you're fine. The only
All right,
thing I'm
well,
really
I
hearing
had to jump in my truck because my phone was dying, so I got to charge
no,
it.
you're good, man. Everything is fine.
So maybe
it's just
when you
Outlaws
dream-
fans, not a big deal.
Maybe when you dream, you get a glimpse of reality that you're.
That
really
could be.
I hope not. My dreams are really fucked up when I have them.
Just saying, that could be what's going on in the real life, and maybe
This is a dream,
This is the
and
dream
the dream
that
is
you're
reality.
Fuck.
What a trip. All
And
right, we
that's
do
why
have a
I
chat.
say living the dream.
Exactly.
Fucking right, Nate.
We do have a chat over here on Rumble. Thank you so much, Mile High Ronan, for $5. He simply puts a popcorn emoji. Yes, sir. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Going to check MGTOW really quick. We are all clear there, and I believe we are clear on YouTube still, so we will carry on. We might get into some TikToks in the second half and see if some of them are going to be garbage. I know it's TikTok. Most things on there are garbage. But just for fun, we're going to see what other people's takes on this whole simulation thing is. We do have a couple YouTube videos as well. But I think it is about time for a break. We are at the first half of the show, ish. Hopefully we can keep it pretty short in the second half and keep the ball rolling here. But yeah, what are your thoughts in the chat as far as a simulation? What do you think? Talk amongst yourselves. What do you think about the simulation? Are we in one? Is this all foolishness? Is Bayou Billy real? Or is it all just in our imagination? Let's find out in the second half of the show. In the meantime, gentlemen.
Can I ask a crazy question real quick?
Go ahead.
Now, this is directed primarily at Billy because of some of the videos that he has put out. If we are in a simulation, which I personally don't believe we are, could the behavior of certain ladies be a 304 error? Hence, that being dropped into the lexicon.
Maybe. Why don't you go up to one and find out? Pinch
Bad advice.
Anyway,
Terrible advice.
Just pinch their ass and make sure they're real.
Walk over there and slap them on the ass. Yeah.
And if it's not a simulation, it must be a thought program.
Yeah. On that note, we're going to go to break. I'm going to need a new pee-pee break at some point. Moving in Stereo got a copyright flag, even though it was created as a cover that was published by Jeffrey Paul. So I'm fighting that right now. So we're going to have to find another one because that's what I would normally do right now. Yeah, you know what? We're going to do it because he's not here and he hates it and it's been a while. So we're going to play Jimmy Script. We will see you on the other side. If you do not want to watch Jimmy Script, go empty your bladders and get your beers. We will be back in about 5 minutes.
Okay, Jimmy, we need you to read it from the script. Are you ready? And take one.
This community wouldn't be here without you. And to be honest with you, I probably don't know if I would be here either. I would probably just be lost in the sauce and lost in space, doing whatever the fuck it is I do.
Okay, Jimmy, you kind of stumbled a bit on that last one, so let's just stick to the script, okay? And take two.
You are the man, the myth, the legend, and the community here, the community in Gilded would not be here without you and Blake.
Okay, Jimmy, just like you practiced, read it right from the script and go.
and for everything that we've accomplished because of this beautiful bastard right here. No homo.
Got Freddy Krueger over here.
We are all here. We are all here tonight. We have our own community set up, and it is because of Terrence Pop and Blake.
Okay, seriously, Jimmy, just read the script. That's all you gotta do. Just read the script, Jimmy, okay? Take 125.
Again, this kind of debauchery would not be plausible or would ever happen without Redonkulous, because I wouldn't know any of you guys on the stream, anybody in the chats, and I cannot thank Redonkulous.com enough for providing us with the ways to bring on this kind of camaraderie, debauchery, and dumb fuckery, because oh man, we are a bunch of just a bunch of assholes, dumb fucks, and we like to have a good time. And cheers to every single
that fucking washing machine already.
Okay, Jimmy, seriously, you could do it this time. Take 328.
If it wasn't for Pop and Redonkulous.com, we would not have this community here. And it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, no homo or anything like that.
Jimmy, I know you could do it this time. Take 597. Go!
But again, big shout out to Redonkulous.com. Without them, 521 lives would not still be addicted to their air addiction. This panel probably would not know anyone that existed.
Juicy.
So,
we need to stop stream at some point.
So without Redonkulous.com, this entire panel, the entire chats, we never would have, possibly would have never connected and all that good stuff, and we never would have figured out that we have such a good, strong brotherhood along with everybody. So, my final salute.
I give up.
Bitches born in the 90s that's under 25 can't cook, can't clean. They don't want to work nothing. Niggas that's 31 and over get in relationships with them and wonder why shit ain't working. That's because all young bitches want to do is pop pills, smoke weed, get drunk, lay around, suck dick, eat hot Cheetos, charge they phone, get a sew and weave, twerk, be bisexual, eat McDonald's, wash they pussy in the sink, lie, take selfies, and talk shit through Wi-Fi because they phone never on.
Welcome back. I'm pretty sure that Jimmy's brain pan reset, did like a hard reboot a few times during that particular stream, and he may have come to the realization that he was in fact living in a simulation.
Either that or he had a stroke.
One of the two. One of the two. This one or that one. Either way.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Welcome back, panel. We are in the second half of the show now. Wash They Pussy in the Sink. I love that one. I had to play that anyway. We've got a few gyms back here. We've got Boxwine and Catland. We've got the nursing home stuff. Got all sorts of stuff. But yeah, we're gonna need to find some new ones. Otherwise, I'm out to stick to the "Eat Your Leftist Ass" for a break. If you remember that one, the Alex Jones song.
One too.
Yeah, I like that one.
I'm honestly surprised you haven't gotten dinged for that one.
Well, I don't think there's anything too overly offensive in it. It's just I will eat your leftist ass.
I only say that because of the fact that it's Alex Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Alex loves that shit. Like when people make parodies of him, he eats it up. He plays it on his own show.
Yeah, he's admitted he's enjoyed that one because he was on Friday Night Tights and Yellow Flash's streams. Like he enjoys whenever they play that in the intro.
Yeah, it's good shit. Let's see. We've got two here. This one's only a minute. We'll see what this is about. Let me share the stop screen. Let me share a different screen here. Okay. If I can get my shit together. I'm rusty. I took a month off and now I don't know where the buttons are. All right, here we go. We'll play this really quick.
In the chat.
Oh, well, good to see you here, Rusty. I didn't even know Rusty was here. All right, here we go. Let's play this and see what this guy has to say.
I don't want to paraphrase Morpheus from from Matrix, but he said, "What is real?"
The universe behaves just like a computer. All right, I'll read this for those of you that are not watching, just listening. The simulated universe theory. Let me pause there. God damn it. It did it. It did it before I got a chance. The simulated universe theory proposes that physical reality is fundamentally made up of bits of information. By the way, if you noticed I was kind of struggling with reading tonight, I promise you I was an A student in English. The problem is the screen I'm still getting used to. I should be wearing actually contacts or lenses, and I'm not. I'm like squinting to see the words on the screen. So that is my fault. Anyway, it's fundamentally
it was just the college words.
Yeah, no, it's just the big words. It's just the big words that scare me. If they're over 2 syllables, I start struggling a little bit. That's why I stick to fuck, shit, piss, and cunt as an alternative. All right. It's fundamentally made up of bits of information. Okay. And that, God damn it, and that what humans experience is actually you motherfucker.
Signals.
Whatever. It's all simulation.
That are being fed to our brain through our perception.
It's going too fast.
And we decode them and we construct the reality around us, images, sound, perception of touching things and the smell, all the senses that we have, they're just electrical signals that are being decoded by our brains, which are, what is this? Is a biological computer. There's nothing more.
Yeah, something interesting. I want to point this out really quick as well. I wonder if my fans are causing some noise too.
Yeah. All
Could
I hear
be a
is
little
your
bit.
odd fart here and there.
All right, fair enough. Let's see. What was I going to say now? Oh yeah, they haven't figured out where in the body or the brain, for that matter, because some people think their sentience, their self, comes from somewhere in this fucking thing, right? But there's no proof of that. There's no evidence of that. There's nothing that has pointed out what makes you you. What makes you have thoughts and feelings and emotions. Where does that come from? It's just a bunch of electrical circuits in your brain. There's no pinpointed spot in there. It says, that's where you live. You live in this spot right here in the middle, down towards the left, right? There's no evidence of that. However, I've heard some interesting things, and this is just stuff that I've been fascinated with in general this past year, that we're here's an idea, that we're living in a spacesuit. That we're assigned this suit. This isn't us. This isn't really who we are, but this is a suit, and we, as babies, learn to manipulate and to use it. And, the other people in their spacesuits, as we start to learn how to do this, they are proud of us, and they coach us along and teach us how to use the suit properly. But this isn't who we are. Again, going into the simulation thing, this is just the suit we're wearing temporarily, right? And again, this can cross into religious or metaphysical or whatever you want to, philosophical. It's a huge question, though. I can't answer. If anybody asks me, where is the person that, who are you? Okay, I have a name. I do this for a living. These are my hobbies. These are my goals. This is who I am, right? But I can't answer where that person lives. Is it in my brain? I don't know. I have no clue. Is it outside of me and I'm just experiencing this as like Grand Theft Auto where you play a character? I can't answer that question. And it's perplexing. It doesn't scare me, but it's a very crazy question. Who am I? Where am I? You know, it's a very, very bizarre thing. What are your thoughts on that, panel?
This is philosophy 101, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Who thought they were tuning in to listen to Shakespearean dialectic tonight?
Or
I think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
No, that's deeper than Shakespeare there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I alluded to that in a private chat, and I don't want to get into it because it's really long, convoluted a discussion, but it's philosophy 101.
I'm taking a look at your private chat there. Maybe we'll do an episode on that in the future. But Crusader, you're like the psychology guy. I really want to pick your brain on this. What are your thoughts on that? Like, just personally, even. It doesn't even have to be just a general statement. How do you feel about that? Like, the sense of who you are, where that lives, what part of you is you? Where is that? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah. I mean, my background is in psychology, but it's also in genetics and organic chemistry. So, I mean, you don't have to make me full screen, but
I do it anyway.
I know you do it anyway because that's the one thing you can do that'll kind of get on my nerves, or at least you try to. But I can always repay the favor later.
You always do.
I do my best. Well, we don't really know where we as an actual personality, or our actual existence is based. There have been multiple studies done in the past 25 years where they've actually put people that are in hospice care that are near death, where they actually weigh the body to see if there's a change in weight when people pass away. They've also done different experiments where they've put numbers facing up, because there have been multiple reports of people that when they die, quote unquote, they see themselves looking down from above.
I've heard that many times.
Nobody knows what number is up there. It's always a random staff member that pulls a sheet of paper off the top. So nobody really sees. So if somebody will expire and come back, and they can name the number that's on that top shelf facing the ceiling that nobody can see. That's what they're doing now to try and actually find out if any of that stuff actually exists.
Wow.
And if there's a way of quantifying and or measuring that. Because it was, I can't remember which one of Newton's laws, but energy can't be created nor destroyed. So when people die, where is the person? What does something leave the body? Does something not leave the body? But you know, the fault in that thinking is, if you're going to actually weigh and or try to analyze a body to see when they pass away if energy leaves the body, can anybody actually quantify a weight of energy? Can you actually physically quantify an ounce, quarter ounce, eighth ounce, 16th of an ounce, or a gram, or a grain? Can you actually weigh and measure an electrical current? Can you measure that in any way, shape, or form? So that's where some of my questions lie. But dude, this is something that we're getting into such a gray area that there's really no solid concrete evidence or answers to go any way or any direction with this.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with Bayou Billy, by the way.
It does. It does. It all ties together.
It actually does, because if we are in a simulation, it could either be sped forward or rewound and go back in and insert different existences at different times, or time stamps, I should say. So you could create an existence of a being before and or after, and put it in, much like people talk about the Mandela effect of certain things being put in pop culture, in popular culture and things like that. So that all kind of really gets to be a messy spaghetti bowl and noodles, just something that'll fry your brain and or confuse you if you think about it too hard.
Well, excellent. That's what we're here for. Now, this is my theory. In 1989, or more specifically when the game was created in 1988, Bayou Billy, as part of the simulation, was in fact born. The Billy that we know today, though, is a simulation of a simulation, much like a glitch in the Matrix. That is where Billy that we know today came from. He is just part of a video game that became real in our simulation.
That's a good.
There you go. How do you feel about that, Billy?
I'll go with that.
All right.
No, it makes about as much sense as anything else we've spoken about tonight.
I can't tell if y'all are kidding or being serious, and I'm kind of scared.
That's what makes this fantastic.
Dinocyte? The answer is yes.
Yes, yeah, it's always yes.
Why can't we be both? It's called duality.
Right.
Oh, that's even more complicated. Yeah, if we get into duality, this just gets... That's actually, I think we have something in the TikTok about that. It was the split particle thing where you observe the what is it, protons or something, and that changes their behavior. I think I had that queued up.
Oh, well, that's the uncertainty principle. If you measure a nuclear level proton or particle, your measurement is going to change it. So the uncertainty principle says we can estimate where it is, but we can't directly measure it because we will change it, and then it isn't a correct measurement.
That's true, and that also bounces off of Heisenberg's theory of in quantum mechanics dealing with the observer effect.
Yes. Yep. In fact, the two are
linked.
They're intertwined, like quantum physics. Yes. What is it? The string theory.
Well, it's actually it's a foundation within M theory and quantum mechanics, about 14 different dimensions of existence.
Right.
Good Lord. The more we talk about this, the weirder it gets.
You opened this ball of worms, man.
I kind of...
Billy, go ahead.
I like the guy that you had on just before the video. That you had on just before.
I'm trying to think.
He was kind of an interesting character.
Oh, yeah, the Russian guy or whatever, or Slavic guy.
Yeah, it was only a very short video, though.
He was talking about the Matrix, with the glasses. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, it was a very short one. Yeah, that was it. It was only a minute, sadly. We do have a couple others queued up. Oh, wow.
Because I might be able to find that guy here if you pull him back up and I listen to him a little more.
Okay. I'm okay. I don't know what's going to happen here, but
he's saying play the video, dude.
All right, I'm going to play the video again. And here's the thing: we have a late comer to the show. He said he's going to be late in advance, so I will get him in the panel. Sean, St. George, welcome to whatever the fuck we have created here tonight.
I know. I was listening to some of it while driving on my errand.
What do you think, sir? What's your thought on the simulation, or not?
Not sure. I think what they said, that it's about a 50-50 chance because there's not enough evidence, and how can we test it? But we kind of do in a certain way, because the way that we see the world as is not what it is in reality. It's light going through our retinas and getting translated in the brain that creates literally a simulation of our reality around us.
Right, and apparently everyone's version of that is slightly different, and there's no way to experience that. But yeah, the color blue might be a little bit different to you than it is to me.
Well, I have color blindness, so yeah. So colors look different.
A very different version.
Hang on, Rhino. That's actually an interesting point. I know you said the color blue thing was as kind of an offhand flip comment, but there is a theory that ancient cultures didn't even have the concept of blue.
I heard about that. Yeah. That we developed that later on. And I think it had something to do with survival and being able to pick fruits that weren't poisonous, stuff like that. I'm not sure the details on that, but I do remember hearing something about that. We saw the sky as black at one point. We couldn't see blue.
I think that was about the rise of the redhead soulless creatures.
Here's something even more to screw your head up. Number one, try to describe color to somebody who doesn't know what color is. Number two, your blue, your perception of blue could be totally different from my perception of blue.
Yep.
And and George's perception of blue, which he doesn't have any of, and Nate's perception of blue. We can all have a different perception of blue. That's how screwy the simulation is.
That is
true. Because this is starting to sound like something that you'd hear a bunch of potheads talking about when they're high as kites.
Well,
I have a question here.
How do you
Sean.
think maybe some of us came up with these ideas?
Right.
Hey,
Tommy,
Sean,
what was your question?
Sean, I got a question for you. What is your color blindness? Is it red?
Red green.
Is it?
Okay.
Okay, that's the most common one. I figured it was, but
so in theory, everything looks brown to you. Then, in theory,
no, it is mostly when you have certain shades so close to each other, which is one of the reasons why you can't be a pilot. Ignore the bitchy dog in the background. It's when, like, if you ever take those colorblind tests where they will mold the colors so close that you can't tell which is which because they all look the same color.
Right.
I have it to a degree, but like I could see red at the bottom here.
You can't.
But that's red to me.
It is red. Okay, I had a friend who had a color blindness, and he essentially described everything red and green, and we did it with photography. I actually edited the colors on the screen to different cues to try to figure it out. It was just interesting to see. He picked green as brown, and he also picked red as brown, but it was a slightly different brown. But they both, to me, my perception of color, it was both shades of brown, which was a trip. But he could see the difference. It just wasn't much. But then it tripped me out because we used to camp all the time, me and him, and it was very green and pine trees and, brush and everything else. And his perception looked like, from what we did with the editing, I actually edited a photo to look like that, and it looked like everything was dead. It was a trip. Like everything was just brown. The trees were brown, the grass was brown, everything was brown.
So you're basically saying that everything looked like San Francisco.
Yeah.
Duty.
In a way.
My high school biology teacher had a color blindness, and he described, I think he was red-green, but he described him as gray.
That's great. That's
that was the best description he could get of it. It was just gray. Which really threw me off, because what you guys just described is what my scientific explanations have understood.
Yeah. Outlaw, what were you going to say there?
Here's a question for you. What do blind people dream of?
Well, that's a good fucking question.
Okay. Here's a crazy one for all of you guys. Years ago, in the comic book Green Lantern, before they went complete woke nonsense, one of the rings actually chose a bearer that had no concept of color whatsoever because it was a species that had no eyes. And when
interesting,
when one of the lanterns showed up to teach the new guy how to use the abilities, he had to translate it to what is a pleasant sound for what green is.
Wow. Huh. There you go.
So they use sound to describe the color instead of taste, which is also a genetic one.
Or
like those clickers from people in real life who are blind, but they navigate through their own internal sense of sonar that they've developed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or here's a question I've asked Crusader Nate before backstage: how does a person picture smell?
Actually, Outlaw, I was thinking about that, and I looked back into it. A lot of mixed signals like that within the brain actually fall within the anomaly synesthesia, where people can actually taste or smell colors and or will see things as they'll hear somebody speak, but they'll also see as numbers. They will, and the numbers will be in different colors. So it's actually it falls within synesthesia as a subcategory of that. And that is a psychological abnormality within the brain that we haven't been able to figure out.
That's interesting you say that, because I have occasionally have described something like a food that would be, not because of its color, it just seems like it would taste like it would be brown or something. You know, I've done that. Like that's like a brown taste, you know? It sounds stupid, but I've actually done that. So that's interesting.
It's weird because like I can think of the way that in my brain I can picture the way that cheese tastes, certain cheeses, and the way that certain things smell, and I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, that's supposed to be my nose and taste buds job. How's my brain picturing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can, if you think about it, you can actually smell like vanilla, for example. If I think about vanilla and there's no vanilla around me, I can smell the vanilla. That's a trip too.
That's
Simulations.
kind of like the it's kind of like the memes that I see on Facebook from time to time. Somebody says you can't hear a picture.
Yeah.
And there are people that put up as a counter to that meme ships from sci-fi shows, cars, firearms, jet aircraft, because all of those things, apparently, when you see that picture, automatically the sound that you associate with it gets going through your subconscious.
I was gonna say, some of the most beautiful paintings of the Renaissance era of ocean landscapes. You see the girl on the beach. I think it was Rembrandt. She's laying on the beach, and you can hear the fucking ocean. You just see it and you can hear it.
That's a trip.
Yeah.
Well, Nate, it would probably be something similar to like if you went out drinking and you had a very bad night. And I've heard people say this a lot, you know, if they just mention the name of an alcohol to you and you get like sick and want to puke, I would imagine it has the same thing.
Tequila
Rose.
Jaeger will do that for me.
Yep. Cut my balls, tequila.
Right. Well, that's actually very similar. I had a conversation with a few friends of mine a couple months back where everybody has that one food that they ate as a kid that kind of emotionally scarred them. You smell that. If you smell anything like that food, it instantaneously turns your stomach. And that kind of resorts back to like a primal instinct. Your body has learned eat X, get sick, result is Y. So that makes some sense because it's kind of a primal drive. That's something your body has learned. And I think that actually falls into something neurologically different than synesthesia, but I don't know enough about neurology to break all that down.
All right.
I don't think anybody does, Nate.
Well, what do you guys think about jumping into some TikToks? Just some of these are probably going to suck. Some might blow your mind. What do you think about just blind reacting to some of these really quick? What are your thoughts on that, panel?
Sure, why not?
Let's do it.
All
So
right.
Let's
you're
blow our
taking
minds out.
You're taking my 20 talks ideas. Is that what you're saying?
No, these are all topic based. There are no 20 talks there. The topic is going to be, are we in a simulation? We'll see what the TikTok has to say. By the way, the Russian thing, did you want me to play that like after the show for you so you can do your thing? Is that, or did you just want us to play it again? Or
don't worry about it.
Okay, well then we'll leave it for later. Let me stop screen here and bring up this one. And we'll just see what's going on with TikTok and see what they think about simulation. Some of these I've seen are pretty interesting. It's pulled up here. And yes, I do use the Chinese Communist app. Our government does far worse than the Chinese are doing to spy on us. So just saying. There you go. There's my thought on it. Let's see what these people have to say. Like I said, some of these are going to suck. We can pass. Panel, just say next if it's terrible.
Probably. The idea behind the simulation theory is that none of this is real, and what we're actually experiencing is a kind of computer-generated simulation. And before you jump to the conclusion that there's no way you would fall for a simulation, your brain doesn't see, doesn't move, doesn't feel. You have body parts that collect that data sensory, which your brain then translates so that you can have an experience. Even though this technology is kind of crude, it doesn't take much to trick your senses into thinking that you're about to fall, for example. People like to put the odds at about 50-50, because we can't prove that it's true. Just
if you guys have ever played any VR games, I do like Flight Simulator, like Star Wars. They had that game that came out like a year or two ago, Squadron. And it's got a Squadron. It's got a VR option. I'm telling you, you can not only can you feel like you're going to crash into something playing that, but you'll get motion sickness from that fucking game. It's a trip because you're not moving, you're not doing anything, but when you're in that, you feel like you're on a roller coaster. It's something else.
That's a visual effect.
Yeah.
You get the same
A few
experience.
years
when we're
ago, the
wearing drunk
military actually
goggles.
started implementing VR training on certain types of MOS fields, and I've done a couple of them, and it really does screw with your brain.
And the drunk goggles, just like Dino was mentioning,
haven't tried those.
Oh, those are nasty, dude. You will throw up.
But again, Rhino, you've done the real world version of them.
I've probably done the real world, but I survived it. Well, for now. But anyway, let's see what else this lady has to say here.
just as much as we can't prove that it's not. It could explain a couple of things, like the arbitrary speed limit of the universe, which is the speed of light, but also maybe the Mandela effect, which is a collective false memory, named after Nelson Mandela, who for some reason a lot of people thought was dead for decades. Some other examples are Looney Tunes, Pikachu, and I don't care what you say, I still call it Jiffy. Solipsism is the philosophical idea that you are the only one can be sure exists, because you can't remove your mind and put it into someone else, so how could you prove that everyone is as real as you? Most of my friends who work in IT, for the government, NASA, SpaceX, most of them believe we're in a simulation. Probably. The idea...
There you go. All right, that's the first one. Let's see. What about this one
I've been
here?
public on the fact that I'm waiting for someone to convince me that we don't live in a simulation.
I've heard you say it.
The arguments put forth have been quite convincing. Most of the best arguments are traceable to a guy named Nick Bostrom, a philosopher at the University of Oxford. Here's the argument. Our computing power is growing rapidly. We create simulations of worlds. We have video games with characters that are inside the video game. Imagine a day where you can simulate a world so perfectly with life forms, humans,
or alternatively, so god-awful and nightmare fuel, you wonder if you did wake up in a simulation, because when you looked at anything prior to 2010, the world doesn't even feel the same. Something to think about there.
So well that you can recreate every single neurosynaptic...
Hang on. What were you saying?
Oh, I said
Burn in 2012.
Yeah, that's what I
2012?
just said.
Mando?
When they turned on Burn.
Yeah. Yep, CERN. That's something to think about there, because I tell you, I'm not kidding. If I look at the world from my perspective prior to 2012 especially, night and day. I mean, everything. I'm talking about friends, family, relationships. Matter of fact, a lot of those people that I knew in my life passed away right around that time. They're no longer in this reality. But even like simple things like the dating market and how much that's changed. It's upside down from what I remember prior to 2012. The way people act, the crazy, the blue-haired people, you know, that didn't, I mean, it existed, I guess, but it wasn't like this. And then you can name any news article. Just pick any news article the last 5-10 years. Any of those are a good example of things that didn't happen prior to 2012. So there you go.
Thought you could have, but now you're in the simulation on the computer.
So,
including the perception of free will.
So now you would have enough computing power to imbue the Sims inside of the program with all of the human traits that we possess now.
Correct. Not only our human traits, but the world.
But the world.
The world itself.
Right.
And you don't have to have all the world existing there at all times. That might be an unrealistic amount of computing power. You just need
enough of the world that they see around them.
Nothing that they see around them.
Right.
So you want to start digging. And
that's so funny.
That's a trip. We were just talking about that.
Haven't put the Earth in.
It's almost like that's part of the simulation. Just giving us a feedback loop.
Well, he's obviously a simulant.
Yeah. Crusader.
Okay, well, here's something that might blow a few people's minds. A few guys mentioned 2012. The Mayan calendar. Everybody, I remember everybody making a big deal about December 21st, 2012. The world was going to end. The calendar came to an end, and it was going to restart, recycle, and it was going to disclose. Well, I wouldn't say disclose, but more or less restart or uncover a new cycle of the largest wheel of the calendar. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes, I believe that is the correct interpretation of the Mayan calendar.
So you would be unveiling begin. Go ahead, Mando.
That sounds like a lot of the stuff that I heard.
So you would uncover and or begin a brand new cycle of things. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Rhino. Pop open, if you could, please, live here on the stream. Pop open say a Google. Open up Google and type in ancient Greek translation of the word apocalypse.
All right, let's stop the screen temporarily. We're gonna do this. All right, share screen, Google, sharing, and we're going to type in
ancient
what
Greek.
Specifically?
Ancient Greek.
Okay.
Translation of apocalypse.
Oops, there we go. Apocalypse. Okay.
What's the definition?
The first one that pops up here, the Greek root for apocalypse, in a bunch of crazy letters here, is a verb meaning to uncover, reveal, lay bare, or disclose.
Okay.
Huh.
You see where he's going with this? I do.
Okay, no, please continue down this rabbit hole. You have my attention.
This is no rabbit hole.
This is no rabbit hole.
I thought it meant the end or like doom.
No.
That's the way it's used in popular parlance, but it's not what it actually means.
Right. That's a modern interpretation and or modern bastardization of the term. So now, in a new beginning of a new cycle of learning and or education and or some may refer to it as a self-actualization, you are learning new things at a new level and you are uncovering new data. I don't remember anybody talking about life being a simulation prior to 2012. Can anybody,
what a trip.
Can anybody out there provide me any data or any evidence to show that is a concept prior to 2012? Or is this something new that has occurred since 2012, along with all the other abnormalities and anomalies that have occurred
Wasn't
in the past
The Matrix in 1998, though?
No, 99. The Matrix was released into theaters
99.
in 1999.
But that's
the greatest
that's
year for movies
a movie
ever.
about a simulation. So could we not count that?
Well, we could, but I mean that's definitely near that time frame of when everything was changing in society. So,
see, I guess I'll play devil's advocate on that. In when I saw The Matrix years later, because it came out when I was younger, I went back and watched the movie maybe 2005, 2006. And I thought of it as more of a metaphor for, at the same time I was putting on my tinfoil hat. So my understanding was it was trying to tell me about, how the world isn't what I think it is, and it's actually run by corrupt elites and everything else. And I kind of put that metaphor as what The Matrix was. But yeah, as far as me thinking this was literally a simulation, I guess that never had crossed my mind back then. So I'll give you that.
You were thinking Illuminati.
I was thinking Illuminati, exactly. Exactly. Yep.
now is your mind not blown at this moment?
It's odd. It's
Now look up hysteria.
Let's see. We'll get into that really quick. Let me pop.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. A lot of our words that come from Greek or ancient Greek have far different translations than what they were
Yeah.
2,000 years ago.
We've seriously bastardized a lot of them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just the English language now, which is rooted
True.
in Greek and Latin. Now, look at some of the other languages that are working to be bastardized by certain groups.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
The name hysteria is derived from the Greek word hystera, which means uterus. So you're saying everything with a uterus is crazy?
Yes.
Is that wrong?
Okay.
Well,
I mean, here. Let me give you some background on why I brought this up after he brought up apocalypse.
Yeah.
In the 1900s, early turn of the century, that was when they created the vibrator, and women were prone to hysteria, which was a thought that the uterus would go nuts and travel around the body and drive the woman nuts.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So,
isn't that why they doped him up?
Well, that was later. That was
Okay.
later. So what they came up with in the early turn of the century was sexual stimulation. That's where the vibrator was created, because the doctors got tired of fingering this fucking crazy bitch and getting her off. Yes, it's true. It is very true.
Yeah, he's actually right, because
This episode is a trip.
late 1870s, 1880s,
up until the 1920s.
Well, starting 1870s, 1880s, men could actually have their wives and or sisters or mothers committed to asylums due to hysteria. That was actually one of the many first psychological diagnoses that would actually allow you to have somebody committed above and beyond and outside of their own free choice. You could actually have somebody committed due to hysteria.
Yep.
Somebody in the chat is bringing up something that I'm not familiar with what he's getting at, but you might. Agent of Doubt. Okay, since none of you fuckers are citing Rene Descartes' immaterialism, that I'm just going to ask you if you all remember singing "Row, Row, Row Your Boat" as children.
Oh,
yes.
I do. I absolutely do.
Yeah, we need Agent of Doubt in one of these streams again. That guy is brilliant.
We can bring him in if he's available. Agent of Doubt, 1 in the chat if you're available. 2 if you'd like me to go fuck myself.
But not on camera. Not on camera.
Or 3, all of the above.
3, of course. Shadow Hunter immediately says 3. Fuck off. All right. All right. We did have another one. We did have thanks, Riggs. Thanks, Riggs. We did have another one. Look up look up Anarchy from
False
Sam
Dichotomy?
Fisher. So
Yeah.
we'll do that. We'll do that.
Anarchy's a good one. Yep.
Let me put that on the screen.
So while you're doing that, it's like Nate was just talking about, like how people would get their wives committed and everything. Did you know that the guy, Dr. Kellogg, used to have a
Yes.
thing where they used to do this?
We can have a discussion on this, because this gets into the keto thing and how they were keeping men from essentially, can I say this on YouTube? Fuck it. Masturbating. And they thought that Kellogg's cereal, the cornflakes, would prevent men from, fapping. Well, it turns out that is somewhat correct, because that creates, here we go on the keto journey, keto, excuse me. It creates obesity, which then leads to heightened estrogen, which in turn lowers testosterone, which in turn makes you less likely to want to fap. So he was right. He was absolutely right. There you go. Stop eating fucking carbs and sugars, you fat fucks, and you'll have better testosterone levels. There you go. There's my plug for the
Stop eating them excessively.
No. Just stop. Stop it. Stop it out loud. All right.
No. Well, all right. Outlaw, we can build on that. So, I think most of us here in the panel have seen the movie Aladdin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the prince rubbed the lamp, got the genie, got a bunch of wishes, and learned a lot. So what that tells me is if you rub one out, you learn a lot. So am I
right? Now we're back to the regular show. All right.
Oh,
All of this during No Nut November. Jesus Christ.
Oh, we're going to get into the butts here shortly, I'm sure.
All right, let's look at this anarchy here really quick.
Entire year. So guess
yeah, we're gonna look at the anarchy definition. Anarchy is derived from Greek, where AV means without, and apzia, archaea, I don't know, means ruler. So therefore, anarchy is fundamentally defined as the absence of rulers.
My freedom boner can only get so erect, Rhino. Don't threaten me with a good time.
On that note, we're going to stop looking up definitions before somebody starts fapping on screen here.
Rhino, I'm sure
like
you
this?
have enough I'm sure you have enough self-control not to do that.
Oh, well, you know.
Oh, God.
I got to ask you a question.
Yeah, questions. Yes.
Dinocyte, is your score still 1776-0?
History began on July 4th, 1776. Everything before it was a mistake.
Wow.
Okay, that would be a yes.
All right.
You want to laugh? Look up when running was invented.
I'm gonna let you guys.
British flag that Washington
I'm being dead ass serious.
Invented.
I'm being dead ass serious. There is a date where they claim running was invented.
Was that a marathon?
All right.
They claim it was invented. Rhino, go ahead.
Fuck's sake. By the way, Agent of Doubt put 3, so I think that means he's available to come onto the stream. And if so,
and he
check
wants you to fuck yourself on screen.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen, unfortunately, for whoever wants to see that. And I'm sorry.
I don't.
That'll be backstage, or not backstage. That's the after party.
We have a fapping facility. We actually do have a fapping facility. When did they invent running? Is that what you wanted me to fucking type in this fucking machine?
Yep.
When did they invent running? All right, I'll put it on screen here in a second.
This is it.
I'm working on it.
Cliff,
when did they invent running? I'm
buds.
working on it. Hang on. All right, present, enhance. I don't have a touchscreen. I can't enhance. Let's see. Google. There we are. Cool. Click, and it's on screen now. I'm feeling lucky. Enter. What's going on? Oh, got to type that correctly. There we go. When was running invented? An in-depth look. That is a very long, drawn-out explanation here. Do you have a simple answer? I'm just looking for a simple answer.
It said it a couple times.
Oh, 1748. All right. Who invented running? 1748. All right. Let's click on it. Ask the internet. Why am I doing this?
Why is Maya Karcher there?
I don't know. I don't care. Well, that largely depends on who you ask and your definition of invented. Ask the internet when was running invented or who invented running, and it'll probably tell you Thomas Running invented running in 1748 when he tried to walk twice at the same time. What? While amusing, I'd recommend not putting that in any college essays. Okay, there you go. Somebody tried to walk twice at the same time. And that is how running happened. I don't know. I have no fucking clue.
Because that is what...
I'm not going to ask Uncle Gary. Fuck Uncle Gary.
Because this is literally what they would tell people on Google for quite some time.
Jesus.
And they caught on to it.
I'm over it.
Well,
I'm over it.
1748. Like, Jesus Christ.
No, that makes absolutely no sense, because if you understand the origins of what is a marathon, 26.2 miles.
Uh-huh.
If I remember correctly, that's the distance from Athens to the city of Marathon in Greece.
Yes.
And that was something that was done during the original Greek Olympics.
Right. Yep,
Well,
it was done to commemorate the Battle of Marathon.
It was a messenger from the Battle of Marathon to Athens to tell them of the situation. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the runner
that's
dropped dead after.
Yeah, he ran to the center of the city of Athens, yelled out the word Nike, which meant victory, and then fell over dead immediately thereafter.
Listen, my friends. Listen, my friends. You are all wrong. It is invented in Africa, Nigeria. Yes.
Here we go.
Oh,
we have African Billy.
Ethiopia.
Where did Bayou Billy go?
You sure it wasn't Nigeria?
African Billy's here.
But
all right,
yeah, we have
check
a
your socials,
similar
Cliff.
thing.
There we go.
Oh, sorry,
okay,
didn't
okay.
mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. There. If 3 is the answer, you will see a link to join. So you are more than welcome to do so if you'd like. I'm not putting the link to join public, just because we've had some issues with trolls. So if you do want to join the show in the future, though, I'll do that really quick. There is the option to join the Gilded community. You can join the Gilded community by emailing me at redpillrhino@hotmail.com. Just send me the most offensive subject line you can think of, something Riggs would say on a daily basis, and that will alert me who keeps pushing the buttons around here.
Send nudes.
There's only one person that could push the buttons, so I know what's going on here. Anyway, just send an email to redpillrhino@hotmail.com, and I will get you into. Oh, someone's trying to enter the studio.
Yes. Agents.
Yes,
more than likely.
that's our issue. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just say one more thing?
No, you may not.
Don't come in my fapping facility.
The reason he does not want to put people on the screen that he doesn't know is because he had a big black dick. Come on the screen.
This is true.
Yes, that is a fact. So if you want to join the Gilded community and have some skin in the game over there, then I can add you to the panel. You'll get an invite on Friday nights or Thursday nights, depending on when I set it up. If anybody would like to step out so we can get Agent of Doubt in here, volunteer yourself. Just yeet yourself right out of the stream, and we will thank you for it later. I don't know who yeeted themselves.
I think that was
Jackal.
Jackal. Yeah.
But
That was Jackal.
He'd already volunteered.
He already volunteered for that. But,
All right.
Can I just throw out a little announcement if anybody wants to join your Gilded? If you want to just go to open up your email, be simple, put in redpillrhino@hotmail.com, and just in the subject line, put "Thank you for being a friend."
Fuck off. I won't open the email. I won't open that fucking email.
Song.
I won't do it.
I hate that show.
I won't do
Don't
it.
come in my fapping facility. You can go anywhere else. Don't
I won't fucking do it.
If you know, you know.
Don't you dare do it.
God.
All right.
sure
We
about
are waiting on Agent of Doubt. He's aware that there is a spot open for him, I think. So now I'm just waiting on him to join. We were going to end the show at 3 minutes from now, but if we can get him in, we'll run a little bit longer just because, fuck it, why not? That's how it usually goes. But I'm waiting to see if he shows. In the meantime, we're going to pop some more TikTok videos back on the screen. So stand by. If we see him come on, we will stop.
Do it at some teenage party. Pop a TikTok.
What now?
Pop
No.
TikTok.
Wow.
Bonus points if you use what's her name? B. Arthur.
Oh.
No.
What?
No.
Oh God!
No.
You're just going too close, man.
I'm not letting anybody that sends me anything related to Golden Girls into Gilded. You will officially be banned for life if you try that shit.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
He'll do it. He'll do
I
it.
won't fucking do it. No one has access to that email but me. So good luck. Yeah. Fuck right off. Let's listen to Elon Musk. What does he think?
If we are in a simulation,
That there's an underlying master plan of some kind.
there may not be a master plan. The reason that these higher beings would hold a simulation is to see what happens. They don't know what happens. Otherwise, they wouldn't hold the simulation. So when humans create a simulation, so at SpaceX and Tesla, we create simulations all the time. Especially for the rocket, you have to run a lot of simulations to understand what's going to happen, because you can't really test the rocket until it goes to space, and you want it to work. But we run the simulations to see what happens. Not if we knew what happens, we wouldn't run the simulation. So whoever created this existence, they're running it because they don't know what's going to happen, not because they do. If we are in a simulation,
all right, that's that one. That is very interesting. I have there he is. He is here. So we will jump into a discussion with the Agent of Doubt. Welcome to the show, you son of a bitch. How you doing?
Hey guys.
Hey.
What's up, brother? Oh, what's up?
Good to see you, man.
So it actually was number 3, because hearing Rhino butcher the name of Rene Descartes, it's like he just stuck his penis in my ear and stirred it the fuck around in my head.
Also, it was Thursday.
Talk about so fucking Jesus Christ.
Wow. You're lucky he doesn't have a black dick, otherwise you go deaf.
All right. Well, on that lovely note,
all right.
You had some stuff you wanted to bring up, address, and add to our conversation.
Well, yeah, the idea that the simulation theory had started like after 2012 is just nonsense. It's been around since before our calendar. Maybe not the Mayan calendar, but in philosophy, this has been something that's been discussed before the age of computers. It's been discussed for hundreds of years, and so
wasn't there something, maybe you would know, wasn't there something about cave paintings suggesting a simulation or something? Maybe I'm out of my fucking mind, but that's starting to jog a memory.
If you're going to start with what Descartes was building on, it was the Greek philosopher Gorgias. It's not spelled the way that you think it is, Rhino. But that's ancient Greek philosophy. But also, just look at Buddhism and how they describe that the world is just an imagination. It's like that people have been thinking about this for a very, very, very long time. The Row Your Boat song that I just challenged you all to remember from your childhood ends in Life But a Dream. You guys all got that hint as kids, and even if we're looking at the study of infants and how they develop, infants do not have permanency in their minds yet. So when you do go peekaboo, they actually think that you disappeared. Right. So all of you as infants were in a world where nothing appeared until you could perceive it.
Holy shit.
Nothing was real until that part of your mind.
Agent of Death.
Wow.
Crazy question for you.
What's up?
Would you say that Plato's allegory of the cave was probably a good early attempt to explain the idea that we would eventually call simulation theory?
It looks a lot like Cypher versus Neo. Take the red pill or the blue pill, and Cypher's like, I want to go back in. All the
he likes the stakes.
All the people who were in the cave who could not accept the truth and look at the blinding light.
That's what it was. It was the cave.
I like this reality here.
I like what I know.
Pull me out of this. I'm going to kill you.
That's what it was. It wasn't cave drawings. It was my memory is slowly coming back to me. This had something to do with being in the cave and simulating like puppet shows on the wall or something with the light, and that was where the philosophy of the simulation came from. Can you go into that a little bit more? Because obviously I'm rusty. It's just starting to come back to me.
So paraphrasing it, basically, there's a bunch of people down in the cave, and they're seeing shadows cast on the wall from the light behind them from the entrance of the cave, right? And one of them is selected to actually escape the cave and go out, and they actually sees what's actually out there, not the shadows of everything that is being projected on the walls. And when they go back to try to tell everybody else about what they saw, the other people don't want to go see it. They don't believe, and they want to kill that person. And it wasn't originally meant as a parallel to what we're talking about here. It was actually meant to describe how people could not see the intelligence in Socrates' teachings, and they ended up wanting to kill him because he basically was trying to spread knowledge, and for that, he had to drink hemlock.
Yeah, that sounds about like what I remember from that.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And that's what you're going to be met with if you try to open people's minds. You have to be brave enough to, suffer the persecution of people who are set in their ways.
That sounds very
like
red pill.
modern day times.
And depressing, actually.
That is exactly what MGTOW Red Pill is.
Well, that's what I come to do here on Rhino's channel, is just like let out a giant fart in the elevator and depress the fuck out of everybody.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, so here's the philosophical question. Which is worse? The turd in the punch bowl or the fart in the elevator?
Yes.
You guys have turds and punch bowls?
I pump septic tanks for a living. I just know it's all shitty.
The question is, the turd in the punch bowl, am I going to be forced to drink it? Because at least the elevator I can get off.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Crusader, what was your... Wow. Wow.
Well played.
Crusader, what were you saying before the turd in the punch bowl appeared in the room?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, by the way.
Speaking of, all right, he mentions turd in a punch bowl, and then all of a sudden you bring it to me. Thanks. That shows me where I that shows me where I stand within this community.
God damn it!
But it's okay. We can kind of phase it on a light note like that. Keep the humor going. But yeah, they're within the red pill community, which is drawn off of the Matrix, which is something where those of us who quote unquote took the red pill a while ago, we are the people that have left the cave. We are the people that have seen the world outside of what the entire group has known. And every time we try to raise awareness to those who have focused on the cave drawings within the light from outside the cave, we are actually being that messenger trying to draw the people out of the cave, metaphorically speaking, to show people that there is something greater above and outside of the cave, far beyond the comprehension of the group. And that's where we see the animosity, that's where we see the fear, that's where we see the individual fragility and foundation of those who all they know is what is inside of the cave, and that's where they're comfortable, and that's where they can't see the world outside of the existence they have known. Unless I'm wrong on that. Anyone feel free to jump in and correct me.
No, we have actually we have a specific example. We have talked about this before on the show. We have not. I don't want to like point you out, but I want to bring this up again because we talked about this before. Sean St. George. 10 years ago, if I would have told you some of the things I've talked about on my show, whether it's, maybe not so much the dating stuff, but let's say certain government entities doing things that were maybe false flags, things like that. At one point, I know, and I'm not pointing you out specifically, you never did this, but I know when we're talking about the cave and leaving the cave and discovering the truth and coming back in and then people killing you. Obviously, I'm still alive, but I remember when I used to bring up, the melting temperature of steel, for example, people would fucking come at you. Like at one point, when me and my buddies would get together and watch documentaries on stuff like this, like we're talking old Alex Jones material, we used to fucking go into the apartment, close the blinds, and watch that shit. Because if you talked about it, people would fucking just be livid at you. How dare you question America? And so forth and so on. Like, you didn't dare question the narrative. Especially, we're saying back in 2005 to 2008, it was, that was, you didn't do it. You didn't fucking do it. But Sean, the reason I bring that up is because I think at one point you were a member of the uninitiated, and you would have gone along with kind of that "fuck you, buddy. What are you fucking suggesting that our government would fucking create a false flag to get us into some bullshit. What are your thoughts on that, sir? I do want to.
I think I had a lot more faith in government back then. Like I had known they'd done some fucked up shit before, but we're talking about. Ignore the screaming child in the background, please. I'll talk to him later. I had a lot more faith in it, and then there are guys who would say, "No, you need to look into this." I look into it, but it was a slow process over probably a couple of decades worth. To realize what I realize now is they are not your friends. They are more likely an adversary. At the very least, you need to treat them as such.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you need to also, if you have that awareness and you're not trying to do something to make things better, like for me coming on the show or feeding you guys information that I go find out in the interwebs, that's my contribution that I could do, because that's what I could do at this point. Maybe do something more in the future, but yeah, go ahead.
No, just let me ask you very specifically, because I know we've had this conversation before. If you had met me, I don't know, let's say 2009, and I was telling you a lot of the stuff we talk about on the show right now, would you have not fucking basically said you're a fucking idiot? I mean, to paraphrase, but what do you think your attitude would have been a decade ago?
I was a lot nicer back then. I would have just summed it up as, you think differently than I do on these subjects.
All right, fair enough.
Even though we get along on so many other different topics, but it wouldn't be one of those things that I'd say I need to eliminate you from the friend group because you hold these views.
Fair enough. Yeah, and I mean, I maybe you not specifically, but I know a lot of guys, not so much my friend group, because we were all, kind of in that boat together, like, holy shit, what is this Illuminati Freemason stuff, right? But there were people around us that were like, fuck you. Like, you believe what this government tells you, and there was terrorism and all of this, and it's exactly what the TV told you, and don't you question that. How dare you? You're un-American. You're a vile piece of shit for disagreeing with anything. And at that time, it was, Agent of Doubt, I think you were around for some of that when people would get vitriolic when I would suggest something, because you've been along for the ride. You've seen my insanity for a couple decades now, it seems like. So
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on that,
I was
sir?
sitting right next to you when you were taking the shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, the same scenario. I, as a veteran, we're almost to Veterans Day. We're like 2 hours away.
Yes, sir.
I know what thermite looks like. I know what an incendiary grenade looks like. I know what the smoke from it looks like. And I could see for my own eyes the dripping molten metal coming out of things. And I could hear the reports of people's boots still melting days later, because of the heat that has nowhere to go but just sit in a molten pile down there. And so I know that was an element of what happened. I have some alternative explanations that are plausible, and I can't tell you that I know anything for certain about what actually happened. All I saw was on video. I haven't been within 100 miles of that place since it happened.
Yeah.
But I at least felt like we have the right to question without being vilified. And if I'm going to fast forward 20 years to just today, right? The narrative that I see coming out now that is similar to what happened back then is, we know that attacks came from these people, but it's actually the root cause is these people over here that we actually want to attack, right?
Yeah.
So there's this little attack from Hamas on Israel, and it gets the retaliation is fucking brutal, right? It's order of magnitude larger than what happened to them, and they're going to keep doing that. But what you'll see on the news is, everything comes from Iran, right? So Hezbollah is led by Iran, Hamas is led by Iran. It's all Iran's fault. So actually, what we need to do is isolate them and then prepare to attack them. It's like a shell game. Like they want to do this over here, but since this popped over here, they're just going to feed us a narrative of like it's connected somehow. 20 years ago, we're hearing about Osama bin Laden. He actually comes from Saudi Arabia, who we're not going to speak about because those are our friends, right? But we end up going into Afghanistan and fucking up their people. We killed 170,000 Afghanis. We killed 300,000 plus Iraqis, and we caught Osama bin Laden in fucking Pakistan. In neither of those countries, but we use that as the pretense, searching for him, and those things to wage all the wars that we actually wanted to wage. And it's happening again. We can see the narratives unfolding in real time. This over here, but actually, no, what we want is over here.
Yeah, and don't you dare question the narrative, or you become a social pariah. Yeah, that is it. And you got people so heated about it that they'll vehemently oppose you if you point out that maybe what they believe isn't exactly what's really going on. Yeah, you're kind of right. It is on repeat, which is a whole topic for another stream. But yeah, I think to wrap that up, it is interesting to see just how much things have changed over the years, especially when it comes to, the red pill community, for example. And we're getting back to that cave conversation. I would say it's far more accepted now than it was before, and that goes back to what Crusader was saying with the Greek definition there, that we are being made aware. The apocalypse, so to speak. We are all kind of waking up and seeing the world for what it really is, and what it really is isn't what we've been told it is. Very interesting discussion tonight, gentlemen.
Hang on, Ryan. Can I ask just a crazy question here?
Most of them are.
Is it
here.
possible that is it possible that the RP mindset is becoming a little bit more acceptable? Not because people are truly accepting it, but because they're being forced to accept it by the facts on the ground?
I wouldn't say forced. I would say what's happening is
I'd like to build that one, if you will.
Well, yeah, okay, sure. I'll
so
abstain.
If you were to watch 3 days ago the Republican debate, the third one that happened that like nobody watched on MSNBC, they were talking about banning TikTok. Right. And they were talking about it because TikTok feeds us live feed from the ground news, like first person view. Right. And we can all see what's actually happening. But what we're going to be seeing is them distancing Americans from any sort of information like that. And what is the alternative is now places like YouTube and Rumble where more red pill content is. And people have been sliding way to the left if they're watching TikTok. They're getting a perspective that is nowhere near where politicians want them to be. So they're going to be given full access to red pill content, whatever can land to get them a little bit back into the Overton window that they're comfortable with. Because these foreign sources of information that are just feeding us all sorts of information that is not acceptable to our overlords. It has to be countered somehow. And so that's why you see censorship letting up on TikTok. You see Rumble's not being attacked by Congress at all, even though, what should be the left party should be attacking Rumble just as much as the right party is attacking TikTok. If they're looking at it like, let's ban the opposing person's information source, right? But they're not, because the left in America is actually a lot closer to the right in America than TikTok is to the left, because TikTok is far left.
And that's interesting too, because the algorithm on there, it depends on who's watching. Mine is pretty balanced, I would say. I see a lot of right and left. But you're right. To answer your question, Mando, from my perspective, really quick, I think a lot of people are, and kind of he summed it up perfectly. You're seeing real time around you. You can't deny reality, but I think more importantly, not just that the information is out there. I mean, whether it's the dating red pill, which I think it's an addition to the red pill. It's a recent thing. Everybody wants to say, I'm the founder of the red pill, whether it's Rollo Tomasi or whoever the fuck it is. That's not all the red pill is. That's just the dating side of it. Okay. I want to make that clear. The red pill in general is a whole fucking thing. The discussion we're having here tonight included. Even if it is about Bayou Billy, but it's still a red pill. Anyway, my thing is, a lot of people are experiencing personally in their own lives. And remember, a lot of people, myself included, I'm going to hold myself accountable there. I didn't give a fuck about fatty liver until I woke up one morning and was on my knees in pain and said, something ain't right here. I get a CT scan and I have fatty liver, right? Then it matters. It really matters because I quote this. I'm probably going to remember this the rest of my life. I don't think you need a liver transplant yet.
He's right. He's
wait
right.
a second. Go ahead, Outlaw.
No, he's right. And the point is, and I've said it before on my own channel, they're going to make it cost you one way or another. The ability for people like us to get on these platforms and put out this type of content in a sense for free, right? You know, that's going to come to an end eventually. You know, people who have the ability to constantly make burner account after burner account, you know, it's going to stop. They're going to come after it, right?
Probably.
Oh, that's actually not entirely where I was trying to go when I asked that question.
Okay.
Okay. There's been a lot of people complaining, and I'm going to go ahead and pick on illegal immigration at the border.
Okay.
Sure.
There's been a lot of people complaining about that for a couple of decades now, at least. But now all of a sudden, people are waking up to the truth of the matter and the quote-unquote red pill of the matter that, oh, we don't have the ability to take care of these people. We can't keep having them come in. Now, the corporate overlords, they don't want that information coming out because a lot of these people that they're bringing in are the folks that are cleaning their office building under the table. And that is on both right and left. They don't want the gravy train to come to an end, yet with the people basically, and I'm going to pick on New York here, people in New York saying, hey, we don't want this here. It was fine when it was down in Texas, but it's not good here. We can't deal with this anymore. Say again?
It's NIMBYism. That's what it is. Not in my
NIMBY
backyard.
assholes.
In my backyard.
Yep. NIMBY assholes. You're absolutely
but what
right.
I'm getting at is now that they're being forced to see it, they've been quote unquote red pilled on it, and now they're all of a sudden saying, you need to fix this. And the establishment
and that's
is panicking.
that's what I was trying to say with the. I mean, like I said, I'm using a personal example because it's easy to do. I'm now advocating for guys in this space to get healthier, make healthier decisions, right? Because it affected me. And I don't want anybody else in this community going through what I went through because, quite frankly, it sucks and it's stupid and it's avoidable, completely reversible and avoidable. Once I experienced it, it became important and it's something I wanted to discuss. Right now, other guys are talking about it. Now, other guys are discussing it, sharing recipes, sharing diet habits and ideas. It's become important to the guys around them because suddenly they're realizing, oh yeah, this is affecting me too. I'm overweight and unhealthy and all this, and I want to change that. So again, this ties into what you're saying. Once you experience it around you and you can see it, then it matters. Then it becomes a problem. And that I think that is a problem with human nature in general, not to get into a huge tangent there. But if it isn't happening to you, what is it? Not my monkeys, not my circus. Eventually, those monkeys will be in your circus if you don't fucking pay attention. So yeah, I think a lot of people are just at the point where they can't avoid seeing it anymore because it's happening, as you said, in their backyard. They can't escape it at this point.
Well, it's affecting everybody at this point. You know, higher gas prices, higher milk prices. We've reached a point where you can't just turn a blind eye to this anymore.
Right.
It's in every facet of your life. Now they're coming after your jobs.
Yeah.
They're coming after your income, your family.
Yep.
People would be fucking stupid to stick their head in the sand at this point and ignore the fact that we're living in a tyrannical, toxic environment.
And another thing, people are feeling it. Like you were saying, when they go to the gas pumps, when they go to the grocery store, their dollar isn't improving anything. As a matter of fact, their buying power is going down every day. Whether that's and some of you are going to relate to this more personally than others, but like trying to get a mortgage on a house, it's getting insane. Trying to buy a fucking new car, it's getting insane. Trying to buy more than $200 of groceries to actually fill up your cart is getting insane. It's just everybody's feeling that pressure coming down on them, and it's hard to turn a blind eye to it. Yeah.
So this rampant inflation is actually causing a lot of what that border invasion is. That the right will call it. It's because the way that we gave ourselves stimulus, and then it causes inflation to the U.S. dollar, right? Right. Prices here. All the other countries that base all their transactions on the U.S. dollar didn't get stimulus. They just have to deal with the inflation that we caused. And that's why they're heading here. The whole rest of the world is in such dire straits that they're all ready to start World War III to fight each other for the scraps. And that's why people are headed this way. Because at least we were looking out for ourselves here.
That's a good perspective. Right. I didn't even consider that.
Well, yeah. It was stated, I believe it was 4 years ago, when the Bank of China was actually noticing people were, it was just after, I think it was like late end of 2020, when people had problems with being able to pay mortgage payments on homes. In China, they were actually building more homes than they actually have people, even including how China made an oops where they counted 500 million more people than they actually have. You also had problems in different regions of the world with climate anomalies as far as growing different crops in different parts of the world. So they're having a problem feeding their people. With that, also the United States government actually paying farmers to turn over their own fields and not bring their crops actually to market, which actually caused a spike in the market for different commodities. Something's been going on in the background that actually built to a lot of all of this stuff, including the inflation. And part of the reason why those people are actually flooding to the U.S. is because our dollar here is actually worth something compared to where they grew up, where they lived. You have to look at this. People who were born and raised in Central or South Africa, Central and South America, you have to understand that's a lot of miles these people are actually walking. And if it is far better and it's an easier life to risk walking or traveling all the way here, much like the immigrants did from Ireland and other places during the potato famines, if they have a better opportunity risking their lives to come here, how bad is it where they are? That's the question nobody's actually asking. Because what will actually happen in some of these other nations where you have banks that are controlled by the federal government? Let's say we wake up tomorrow morning, we have another 1929 scenario or situation. Or we have a 2008 scenario or situation where the housing market, let's say a house is worth, interest rates of 8%, and they say a home is worth $500,000. Okay, let's say that entire market collapses and that house you bought a month or two ago is worth $500,000 is now all of a sudden only worth $80,000.
Ouch. Yeah.
See, I'll be honest, Crusader, that doesn't sound like a crash. That sounds more like a correction.
It is a correction.
Well, they're doing... Well, what is it? Their banks are under threat of collapse. Somebody ran off with $400 billion of that housing industry money.
The fuck?
Yeah.
And they don't know.
JP Morgan?
Yeah.
Anyone?
No, I don't know which. It's a series of banks.
That's news to me.
Huge scandal. But these are all buildings, apartment complexes that have yet to be finished. And it made the Chinese people saying, we're stopping our mortgage payments because Haven't finished my house. Why am I going to continue to pay on a mortgage on a house that doesn't exist? And it almost created like a mini depression in their economy until the government came back in. I mean, there was a new wave of protests going on. Business Basics, that channel covers China quite a bit, and I keep going back to them for follow-ups on it. I mean, it looks like the CCP is still doing fine, but it may just be they're putting on Band-Aids on an arterial bleeding. Is what it sounds like to me.
My guess, as far as what they're going to do next, would be they're commodified. They turned all of their housing into investment capital.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then the Evergrande scandal happened, of course, because a fool and their money are soon parted, right? So they're taking all of everybody's retirement funds and running. The next thing that the CCP is going to pump out is a shit ton of solar panels and a shit ton of electric cars that Rhino's not going to drive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to crash the markets of both.
Yeah.
They're just going to keep on producing because that's all they know how to do. But the shares of those companies will be overblown, just like their housing market was, because that's the only play they have. Is to just overproduce.
Well,
and if
honestly,
I remember correctly, last time I looked at the statistics on Chinese building and or the Chinese real estate market, there are 4 homes for every Chinese family.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Every
That's a
Chinese
symbol
family.
of their... Sorry, go ahead.
Every Chinese family can own and possess 4 separate homes and not put anybody in a quote unquote rental property.
Mm-hmm.
They have that many homes. They have flooded the freaking market to a point where real estate is almost worthless in China.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you sell a home for $500,000 when the real estate market says it's only worth about 50 grand?
A microcosm of that is about to hit us in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Where,
Agreed.
Yeah.
80% of people have mortgages that the interest rate is lower than what the going rate is now, right? They're all like under 5%. They're not going to want to sell their own home and try to get into another when the interest rate is going to jack up their
at 8%? God,
so everyone's stuck in their home, and everyone's hoping that the value of their home does not go down. But there's one industry that's fighting against them, and that's new construction.
Mm-hmm.
And so new construction keeps on pumping out homes while everyone's sitting on their homes and watching themselves slowly get boiled by like frogs. And the value of their houses are going down because new construction is not going to stop just because you want to keep your housing values up. That doesn't make them money.
Well,
no.
Okay. Honestly, a lot of the economic stuff I think is why we're seeing so much in the way of military saber rattling going on.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Everyone looks back at the period after World War II and the boom in construction that went on pretty much worldwide and says, oh, hey, we can do that again. No one wants to acknowledge the fact that war is inflationary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
War
gentlemen,
makes things worse economically before it ever improves anything.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I got to say this has been quite a discussion tonight. It started off with a video game and a simulation and Bayou Billy, and it ended, The reason I say this is we do have to wrap up the stream, but this is almost a panel that I'd like to carry over maybe if the stars align in the simulation for another show, maybe next week, maybe next Friday. If you guys on the panel are up for it, I'm curious if you wanted to continue this just open panel discussion and just do a discussion stream, because this has been a very interesting topic, and I feel like it deserves a little bit more time than we have here tonight. What are your thoughts on that, gentlemen? Would you like to carry this conversation over into next week's stream?
I'm game.
Yes.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever
Sure,
topic
I'm in.
you decide you want
It's
to
a,
talk about, I'm more than happy to talk about it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Agent
It's
Adele?
a very...
Nate and I are going to be the bread to the rhino sandwich.
Well, in that case, let's just fix this right now. I got to put Crusader over there. I got to put you right there. There it is. All right. All right.
Rhino sandwich.
Just the way he likes it.
It's awkward.
God.
It's a little weird. Tell you what, we're gonna wrap the show up for tonight. We will do another stream next week. So if you want to bring your questions and concerns to the show next week, feel free to do so in the chat there. But we'll continue this topic because I think this is well worth discussing. So yeah, that's it. On that note, we're going to get into final thoughts. So everybody on the panel has a chance to discuss their final thoughts about anything, including I feel like the whole purpose of the show kind of got, he was quiet tonight, and I feel like he was left, kind of out of the conversation once we discussed he was part of the simulation. So Billy, we're going to start with you. What are your thoughts about anything we've talked about tonight?
Well, listen, when life gives you a fish, you put it in a pan. You put some butter in that pan. You put a little spice in that pan. Put a little pepper in that pan. You fry it up real good. Because that's what life's all about.
All right. I don't think we can top this. Maybe we should just end the show on that note. I don't know. All right. Final thoughts from everybody else. Let's go to Crusader. That was pretty good.
Well, you guys have all known for well over a year that I've always said that I'm just living the dream because nightmares are dreams too. Well, what's the difference between a dream and a nightmare? I'll let you think on that. Everybody have a great week. Thanks for being here, and move on to the next one.
All right. Fair enough. Who do we got up? Let's do Agent of Doubt. Your final thoughts, sir.
Well, if I'm right, and news comes out daily from the source faster than any government can react to it, then what we're about to see is governments trying to get out quicker than the news and exterminate people by setting high scores that we've never seen before, because they'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission. Because the news gets out so quickly. So if I'm right, we're about to see some carnage.
Okay. I those final thoughts deserve a little bit more thought. God, this is going to be another show for sure.
Stick a pin in it.
All right, we're sticking a fucking pin in it. I wanted to ask questions.
Nope, stick a pin in it. Follow its instructions, man.
All right.
Tune in next week.
To be continued. All right. Good. Maybe we'll just call it The Adventures of Bayou Billy again. We'll just keep the series going.
You're all living in my simulation.
That's right.
Because he's everywhere.
Everywhere.
That is true. That's something to ponder too. He's always everywhere. All right. Tommy, your final thoughts, goddammit.
Fuck, man. I'm just staying out of this shit now. And by the way, a little bit of butter, a little bit of pepper. Oh, yeah, that's some good fish fry right there, man. I guarantee.
God damn, you guys are making me hungry.
Shit.
You got to work on your spices a little bit better there, son.
Oh, you don't know. You don't know nothing, Mr. Billy.
What was that cook's name?
Justin Wilson.
Who came first, Justin Wilson or Bayou Billy?
That's a
whole different day. Trying to answer
Yeah.
tonight.
We didn't get the answer. We didn't get it.
Get an answer.
Or that's what she said.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Mick Delmando, your final thoughts, goddammit.
I honestly don't know how I could top any of those guys. Everyone just keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes open, and keep your situational awareness. Stuff's going to get crazy.
Mm. Yep. Don't think there's any more you can add to that either. All right. Sean, St. George, let's hear what you have to say, sir.
I guess it would help if I unmuted myself.
That would help.
I would say try not to be like me and keep delaying what we know is true, even though there's something in the back of your head says, yes, these kooky motherfuckers are spitting conspiracy theories. Go look into this shit for yourself, because the knowledge is actually a far more public than you realize.
Mm-hmm.
And the government does not bother to cover it up. They just call you a kook and get you labeled as things so that people don't take you seriously. Alex Jones, for all the nonsense he spits out, he has some like epic level truth bombs.
The water did, in fact.
Everything.
The water did, in fact, turn the frogs gay.
It did. Just like how he said cows are being cloned for meat processing, and that Thomas Jefferson was, well, I don't know if he was a member of the Illuminati, but he was discussing them back in the post-revolutionary war as a adversarial agency in his letters.
Interesting. All right. On that note, we'll, I'd agree with that. Look into things. Most of you watching this show probably do because you're here and you've watched us for 2.5 hours. So, but if you're being hard-headed or not being open-minded to the things around you and questioning the narrative, do so, because oftentimes you'll find things aren't what they seem, especially considering we're in a simulation. On that note, MGTOW Outlaw, what the fuck are your final thoughts tonight, sir? And don't talk about fried chicken.
Well, it's delicious, first of all.
Fuck you.
No, I said it a while ago. I mean, if anybody is still, trusting this government at this point, I question your sanity. I really do. If there's still a person that even watches any of these shows still thinking that, we're going to get bailed out by this next election,
fuck no.
Because I'm like our friend here on the panel. These next coming months are going to be something to watch. They're going to pull something. I know they are.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking that they're going to postpone this election personally.
It's not outside the realm of possibilities, sir. I've considered it myself. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, so did a lot of things that are now true. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. They could enact emergency powers if nukes start flying. I'm just saying. And a lot of people say, nuclear war ain't going to happen. That's not on the cards. You know what? There's a lot of people being backed into a lot of fucking corners right now.
Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too sure of anything right now. I'm not telling you the worst is going to happen, but I'm also not telling you that it's going to be sunshine and roses tomorrow. So just watch out. Dynaside 13, your thoughts?
Hey, am I still coming in good?
Yeah.
You're coming in fine.
Sir.
All right. In a world gone mad, don't worry about things that you have no control over. It only brings you anxiety and just will make you miserable. Focus on the things you can change. Give up a vice. Pick up a skill. Focus on what brings you peace. And always remember, this too shall pass.
Well fucking said, sir. I agree wholeheartedly, especially if you're struggling with something. I don't want to be the fucking bleeding heart here, but if you're struggling with any kind of, like you said, vice, addiction, problem, work on that shit. We are about to be facing hard times because of weak men. We're aware of that. Everybody here should be pretty clear on that. So if you're struggling with anything, alcoholism, fucking smoking, cigarettes, whatever it is, whatever is keeping you weak, not a good time for it. Drop that shit. Focus on getting stronger, more resilient. If that means starting a workout routine, fine. If that means, learning a new skill, I would absolutely agree with that. Now is the time to get rid of the fucking baggage and the problems in your life and start focusing on bettering yourself so when the hard times arrive at your door, which they're already knocking, by the way, that you are better prepared to deal with that. So I agree, 100%, man. All right, finally, on the panel tonight, as soon as I can get my screen to switch over, Cliff, final thoughts from you, sir.
My final thought is, if this universe, this galaxy, this world is a simulation has limits to it. Do your damnedest to exceed those limits. Go beyond them. Break them if you have to. Because if this world is a simulation, don't let this world break you.
Fucking hell, man. Well said. All right, I'm going to put these guys backstage. We will be having an after party tonight. We do have a full panel at the moment, but usually a couple guys have to go to bed or whatever. So if you knock at the door and you can't get in, don't worry. Just give it some time. You will make it in. I will drop links in the chat now on Rumble, MGTOW, and YouTube so that you can join if you would like to the after party that is coming up after the show, obviously. Let me get that posted in for all of you. Should be on YouTube now. Let me get it over in MGTOW and Rumble for those of you that would like to join. Okay, and finally, Rumble. Let's tick that in. Make sure I didn't miss any chats. Think we're good. Think we're clear. So slow night on chats, but that is okay. There is the link to join posted there. No new emails. That's false. There are a couple emails. Fuck you guys. Thank you for being a friend from Anonymous. And B. Arthur says, thank you for being a friend. Fuck you. But yes, I sent the invite to both of you.
She's dead. It wasn't from her.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to put these guys backstage. We'll do our regular outro thing. I'll do my final thoughts if I can think of something. These guys did pretty good tonight, so I'm left speechless. Let's see. Got Outlaw, Crusader, and that fucking guy, Ron Jeremy. We'll get him out of here. And all right, we're good. We will see them in the after party if you choose to join us. Hopefully these guys stick around. But like I said, if you want to get in the after party, click that link. If you're in the Gilded community, it was posted in the group chat earlier. If you haven't joined the Gilded community, please don't send me more B. Arthur shit. But redpillrhino@hotmail.com if you would like to join the community, just let me know and I'll send you a link, an invite to join the Gilded. You will need to download an app on your computer or your phone to use it. It's kind of like Discord if you've ever used that. If you're not familiar with either and you're from the 90s, just think of AOL chat room, but better and probably more mentally abusive. But anyway, if you'd like to join over there, just send me an email again, redpillrhino@hotmail.com. Thank you all for watching to the very end. I appreciate each and every one of you that comes on the show, except for Riggs, because that motherfucker... Nah, Riggs, you're good, but... Son of a bitch. If you haven't already checked out Brandon Trueblood, by the way, he wasn't on the show tonight, but he does these ride-alongs every day where you get to talk about whatever you want, whereas Riggs used that opportunity to just troll me all day, which is wonderful. Fuck you so much, Riggs. But yeah, go check out Brandon Trueblood, of course, billyvonbomb.com. Jeffrey Paul with the music. You can find him on YouTube. He absolutely does sell his content. I think he's got his stuff on iTunes. So if you'd like to pick up some Jeffrey Paul jams, you can do that. MGTOW Outlaw, of course, has a channel. So does MGTOW Mando. Is there anybody else I missed that has a show? If I did, I apologize. I think we've wrapped it up, though. Oh, Agent of Doubt, of course. Agent of Doubt has a show as well, if you'd like to check him out. I don't know how regularly he posts now, but it is worth checking out if you'd like to get his perspective on things. There you go. All right. That is it from me. Thank you again for joining. We will see you next Friday for sure. If I do any Wednesday shows or Tuesday shows or anything out of the blue, it'll be a ride-along show. You're welcome to join. It'll probably start around 1 p.m. Eastern if I do those. And you're welcome to come in and talk about whatever you want. The link will be provided in the chat that day so that you can join whenever you would like. To discuss any topic that you feel like discussing. That would be the purpose of the ride-alongs. I try not to step on Brandon's toes, so it's usually when he is not streaming that I'll do those. But I do like that format. I think we're going to be doing more of that in the future because all we have to do is just, talk, shoot the shit. I do my work. You get to come on and talk, and it's a good time. If you didn't catch that, we did a ride-along show Tuesday, so go back and check that out as well. Give that a like, and of course, share this content if it means something to you and you want other people to see it. On that note, I'm going to get out of here before this turns into waffling, which we don't do here. Pancakes only. So all of you have a great weekend. If you are a veteran, it is Veterans Day, so thank you so much for everything you have done. Enjoy that day. Make the best of it. I'm going to be actually spending time with my grandfather, who is a World War II vet, getting to know his story. I want to sit down with him. I've never had the adult conversation to actually get in the nitty gritty with him and find out his experiences. And I really want to do that. He's 95 years old now, and I've had a lot of other family members pass, and I wasn't able to ask the questions I wanted to. So that is what I am doing tomorrow, spending the day with him and talking to him about his life. He was in the Pacific Front. He was a Navy man, so shore patrol specifically. So I'd love to hear his stories. I will report back to you what I learned from that. He's actually written a little book too, so maybe one of these days we'll crack that open on a stream and we'll go into some of his stories. Anyway, on that note, you all stay safe this weekend. Don't do anything stupid. And like I said, work on yourself. If there's anything you need to give up to better yourself, absolutely get to doing it now before it's too late. Because, these prepper channels, and yes, a little bit of waffling, these prepper channels always tell you, start today, start today, start today. Stop putting this shit off till tomorrow, okay? You don't have time anymore. You didn't have time yesterday, you don't have time today, and you may not have the opportunity tomorrow. So get to fucking moving. If you're overweight, start eating better. I've recommended the keto diet for like 4 months now. You can do this. It's not fucking hard. You can still have steak, bacon, all sorts of good shit. So if you're overweight, that's the thing. If you're drinking too much, focus on getting that under control. Seriously, with the way the world's going right now, you can't afford to be one of those weak men. So get your shit together, and I will see you next week sometime. Enjoy your weekend, and thank you for watching as always.
We are the arbiters of this society.
Repeat after me. As a good citizen, we must maintain our neutral carbon footprint. Repeat after me. We must eat the bugs. Repeat after me. We must eat the bugs.
This is a world that we create and manage. The people, they need to be controlled. We will give them truths, but only our truths. They are not to seek information anywhere else.
It is my job to keep order. So what you saw didn't happen. Erase everything.
You a grunt? I used to be one, and I was good at it.
I know. Things were simpler then. I have some questions.
You need to understand, we're being hunted.
By who?
Bring him to me.
This breaks the world.
Your story isn't over yet. There's still a page left.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me f***ed up. Let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of choke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes my dynasty.